This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you, Shiva. All right.
So what are we going on today, Abhishek? What topics?
Okay, so we'll continue on that part which we left you on that day,
Okay.
the monitoring and planning. So we'll continue on that portion.
Okay.
Right. So it would make the consistency at the moment. Um no, so yeah. Did you have any questions till we left on day before?
No, I should be good for that.
All right. So I think on that day we try to cover a couple of things. Let me just re-brief to you. Uh, Firstly, I think status is same thing which we discussed on that day. It's the color codings and all is still continued from the version 7. So it is the
Mhm.
same. I think green color is ended okay, ended not okay, wait, user, resources, host, workload, condition, executing unknown.
Yeah.
Then we have seen the properties areas of the job, the this right portion, right palette, synopsis, waiting info. What are the advanced option is available under the waiting info, whether we can see the script or not. For example, this is someone has created as an embedded script. Embedded script I'll cover later. But this job is set up as a script, so that's why we can see the script. If I'm clicking on the script, then I would able to see the script. Just a one line has been written as a part of the script as a dir, which is okay, but at least we can touch the content by
Yeah.
looking at it. Okay, and then there is always a log, which is control M logs. Output is say a replacement of the sysout. It's a new word. Just of the sysout belongs to will cover as a part of the workload policies. Statistics is all the last few successful run of the job and the documentation areas. We also have seen that if we double click and go to the properties of the job, then which section we can edit. So by modifying a job, we certainly can edit almost all the section except we cannot change what section, which is nothing but a type of the job, whether it's a script type job or it is a command type job.
Okay.
So this portion we cannot change in the monitoring section by holding a job. If we try to modify a job on an ad hoc basis, this section cannot be editable. Okay, wouldn't be editable. Rest other sections would be editable. And the one more thing which we cannot able to change it is a run as, which is a owner. In the as
Mhm.
compared to the version 7, it is a owner which has been renamed as a run as. So this is also another section we would not able to change it. Our folder name is certainly we not able to change it because it is very integral part of the job definition. But rest other field, if we try to modify a job, which automatically hold the job in the backend and open the editable field, for editing. So here if we see, we can see job name what section. If you look at it, we can only flip between script to embedded script or vice versa. But if you talk about if I want to change a script job into the command, no, I cannot. I have to go back and change the definition, and then I can change this part. Similar things, this is something.
What's the
Yes.
difference between that script and embedded script?
Okay, so embedded script is something which you can write down right there. Okay, so control M will open this section called dir. Here, whatever the set of lines or the code you want to write, you can write it. So that means content of the script you actually saving as a part of the job definition. So
Okay.
this content of the script is nowhere exist in the server, where the job is going to run, or the
Okay.
agent, I would say. It is actually part of the script, the job definition, and at the runtime, the script would be executed what is written in the job definition.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So while a script which should exist on the server, it should be read from the server. So we have
Okay.
to give these kind of path, right, from
Okay.
a referential from the server location.
Hmm.
But embedded script, you don't need to give a path because it's not going to look at any path. It's just going to look at the data which you have written in the next sections called the script section. So you can write series of commands or your own code or your own logic, which can work, okay, on the as per the OS. So that's works. It's useful for some of the generic programs which you want to run for all the machines or multiple machines, right? So rather than placing them at the different servers locations and increasing your manual workload, you can simply embed it in the job definition. So that's why it's called an embedded script.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the two fields which we has a limitation in terms of an editing. Number one is a what run as dummy. Also, you cannot check mark, and the second is the the run as parameters. Rest other is almost all are editable. This section, even in the scheduling sections, you can change the timing. Cyclic attribute also you cannot set. If a job which is in the monitoring section as a non-cyclic, and if you want to make it a cyclic, no, you cannot. So you have to go back into the definition section, and then you have to change it, and then you can bring it back.
Okay.
Okay. Similarly, cyclic cannot be marked as a non-cyclic. Okay, the days certainly is not controllable in the monitoring section because it would not reflect to you at all. The monitoring section, if the job is there, either it has been bring as an ad hoc job out of the schedule, or it is bring as a a regular schedule which has come automated.
Mhm.
All right, so that's it is. Prerequisite, everything you can change it. Everything is an auditable here. Even in the action areas, is everything is an auditable. Okay, on to everything. I don't think there's any restriction here. Everything you can edit, every sections, which you can
Mhm.
edit in the job definition, you can edit it here as well. Okay, so this is we have seen it. The beyond what we have seen is was the different actions we can perform on the job, such as the set to okay, confirm, hold free, rerun, and run
Mm.
now. The various options available in the run now, where we can immediately run the job without, uh, you know, uh, by uh, uh, bypassing all the dependencies of the job, which is time dependencies, or could be condition dependencies, could be resource dependencies, could be workload policies, restrictions, but everything could be bypassed if we press on the run now,
Mhm.
and its successor will also start to run. So if we're running a job as a part of the sequence, we have to be careful that it is required or not. If it is not required, then it is not advisable that we should just run any job with the run now option in the middle of the sequence, which is uh, it should run as a normal. I mean, its predecessor has not run, and someone asks us that, okay, I don't care about those job, but run me, run my job from this point onwards. So that's you can quickly run, use the run now option for that specific job, and its successor can start to run. And but if it is about any ad hoc run or something, then it is advisable that rather than running anything from the existing schedule in the monitoring section, we should bring the new schedule. Just a one job separately, make it completely disconnected from anything else, and run it so your regular schedule wouldn't be hampered. Simple
Okay.
thing. We have seen that a skip job means the skip job will skip the job at the time of run. That means it would be considered as a dummy job when its time will come, and but it will not run immediately. So it will wait for its predecessor's completion, all the dependencies completion, and the moment its dependencies completion is over and its time has arrived, then it will just run as a dummy job. So the successor will run immediately. Bypass options has a various combination of options which we can accordingly bypass, such as the same skip job. The alternate is here as well, run as dummy job. That is the same as a skip job. Okay. Similarly, if in the pre-submission bypass option, if I select everything out here, that is same as a run as.
Okay.
Okay. Run as now option. Why? Because if I am bypassing all the limits, the job can start immediately, right? It is not going to
Yeah.
wait for anything. So it's just same thing. Post processing is like to forcing a job to directly into the post processing section. Once again, it is not going to run it, but it is going to add the conditions to the successor if it is you know, supposed to do so. So what happens as a part of the post processing of the job, once the job is completed, terminated, or I would say rather terminated, successful or unsuccessful, the job performs the post processing action. As a part of the post processing actions, a job can add the condition to another job. The job can release the resources it has occupied. Correct.
Mhm.
So at the runtime, if the job has occupied some resources, the quantitative or control resources, it has to release. So the other job, if waiting for it, can start running it. Okay. So we can force the job to do the post processing as well.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, that's what we have seen it. Uh, Beyond it, we have seen it about the projections and analytics areas, that when this job is going to run. For example, if I projected this job, which is already in confirmation, clearly saying the waiting for confirmation, so the job will not run, right?
Mm.
I mean, that's a way. If it is a regular shift schedule, because this is something customized schedule, which makes sense. But in regular cases or real world, where you already have a well-established environment where a lot of jobs are running every day, if you go and project of the job, the projection will come as a part of their average runtime or start time. So the projection calculation is always based on that. All right, we have seen the other options such as kill and set to OK, no cross processing. That's another option is there. A failed
Mhm.
job we can just set to OK, kind of cases. So it will not perform any post processing. This is also good options in case you don't want to add the condition at completion of the job. Then neighbors, again, you can reach out to its predecessor and successor immediately. These are neighbors is about immediate predecessor, immediate successor. Okay. And so, for example, this job has no predecessor. It is the first job of the stream, and there is a one successor of it, right?
Mm.
So that's the way we can navigate, in case, because this is very much visible to us. But sometime when you have 10,000 jobs in your monitoring section, these diagrams or map would be very, very congested, you know, I would say.
Mm.
So when they would be congested, it's not possible that, and the job may be placed here and there, so your enter order may be placed somewhere in the map, and the validate order is placed somewhere in the map, though they are connected with each other. But you can't see by clicking the validate order immediately at top of it the enter order. There could be other job placed. The map, adjust itself automatically. We normally don't have any control over it. Just whatever the logic they have defined in the backend, the job are placed in this map or diagrams.
Mm.
Okay. So in that cases, this neighbor option is good, where you can just go click and reach out to your predecessor if it is placed anywhere in the map. Correct.
Mm.
And also, I shown in the synopsis areas as well. The same predecessors options are available listed down here as well. Let me just, yeah, here we go. So if we go down, here is also the predecessors options are listed out. For example, this job has one predecessor, very good. This is right click and we can reach out. And then successors are here. If we click them, we can reach back to them one by one,
Mm. Mhm.
one at a time. In case in predecessor there is any condition is written as a missing condition, that means this job doesn't going to have this condition. Not necessarily, I would say it is not going to have that condition, but you have to secure some additional information about it, when this condition can come, or if it is a really a bad condition which is not going to come, and then to ensure your job is going to run, you had to ensure that how to tackle that condition. Simply remove it or get the idea, and then you know because sometimes in some kind of integrations there's a possibility that someone is adding the condition outside of the control m, to the control m job. So that means you would not find any predecessor job against that condition, but that condition would be added into the system, and the moment it is added into the system, it will allow the job to run, if the job is waiting for that condition. And these are normally an external events which are integrated in such a way that those conditions are directly added to the control M condition database.
Hmm.
Okay. Let me just show you that which what I was talking about. Okay. So if I, for example, I just add a condition here. This is the test in condition, right? I'm just changing in the job definitions. And this is I add it as a test out condition. Okay. And I save it. And if I come back, record order, if you'll see there is a one more condition is reflecting, but there is no hyperlink here, such as a real
Okay.
predecessor job. Okay. So this condition is coming. That means this job is going to wait for this condition as well, but there is no real job, which is going to provide this condition. That's why
Hmm.
there is no link available. So there are various cases. Some cases where this job might be coming next new day. So we may see this job in the future because this the job which is waiting for this condition may not going to run immediately. It is maybe going to run over the weekend or maybe in another day. It might have been loaded, just today, but it is not going to run today. It might be going to run uh, next day, right? And this
Hmm.
job can be available next day. So in such cases, we can go and we can check. For example, if I copy this condition, no, it's not allowing me to copy from here. Yeah, it is allowing me. So there is in the planning session, the good options are there in this version is previous version. I think in the 7 you have never seen that is uh, you can also search in the planning session by the condition names. If any job is defined with that condition as a in or out condition, if I go and if I type this condition here and I try to filter all the job, I would find all the job which are waiting for this condition, which has this condition name in their definition.
Hmm.
And that could
Okay.
be in the either in condition or out condition. But when we don't see that, that means it is really a absurd condition, you know, which is not going to be available. Other options are there where this condition might be added by an external event, directly to the condition database. So it would may reflect at the exact time when the condition is added, you know, and until then you can't see any jobs. But these are the idea you have to collect in internally, and if you don't if you think there is no such knowledge is there, then probably it's a bad condition and you have to settle that.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise, the job is not gonna run because even the validate order will complete. It is going to wait for the test in condition.
Hmm.
Correct. Similarly, test out condition, if you see in the bottom, it is look like a erroneous condition because no job is really getting this condition. So though
Hmm.
this job is giving an out condition, but normally we don't bother about out condition because if there is no matching job for that out condition as a in condition, it doesn't bother. Okay. Only thing impact to you the job which is waiting for some condition. Okay. So this is my in condition. I'm more concerned about the in condition because that is stop this job to run. But what it giving as an additional condition and no one is taking it, it doesn't matter. It just simply we can remove it, or even we don't remove it, it doesn't harm because the moment the record order completes, it add the condition test hyphen out condition, out con, right? But if no one is to take it, it's fine. It will sit out. It will continue to sit in the condition database, but without hampering anything. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that is about this condition part, which synopsis and other give you the options, waiting info announced why we have seen it. So that's good. Now we can quickly look at it, various options available as a toolbar in the monitoring sections. So we can understand them, which one are our daily purpose useful and what are their impacts are, correct? So I'm just, 1 minute, let me just slightly resize it. Yeah, it's going full window. Okay. That's good. All right. Set down it this way. So if you look at it, we have an expand all, very normal options, okay, which you know it. If your jobs normally in hierarchy, they would be like a control M server in the top, correct? So if I minimize everything, I will see always a two boxes. So first boxes is control M, and under that boxes is, even this is a control M box, correct? And then control M server. The next level hierarchy, if I double click on it, I will see the application layers. So because I only have one application called control M test drive, so it is just one. But inside of it, I have multiple groups or sub applications, right? So these sub applications are visible here to me. How many sub applications are there, such as typical applications, file transfer, etc., etc., right? So there are four sub applications in batch services, file transfer, and typical applications. And then if I have to expand further, then I can double click on it, then I can see the job layer. So finally it is coming as the job label I'm coming to, right? And if I expand all, then at the one go, I can come to the job label. Okay, with a single click, I can reach out to the job label. So for example, this is, right? So right now everything is very,
Yeah.
right, so correct. And with the single expand all, you will directly reach to the job level. Everything will get open. Sometimes when your jobs are, you bring a new job into the system, just ad hoc purpose, order purpose. So that job can be placed anywhere in this map. But you want to think that this job should be very next to this job. And if there is a possibility, you can click on the rearrange button. Rearrange button means it will just rearrange the map. This
Okay.
all placement of the job. That's it. If I go to the hierarchy label, then hierarchy is there. Control M application, sub application, smart folder we are not using. I mean, right now all the job which is here is not using the smart folder. But in case if the job has been defined under the smart folder, not under the regular folder, then it may show that layer as well as a part of the hierarchy, which I'll cover as a part of the planning session. What is the difference between a normal folder and the smart folder? Um, Okay, and then in the job label. So you can reach out directly this label of hierarchy from here as well. For example, sub application, everything is a sub application. Application, we can come to the application layer, correct? And then job label, we can reach out to the job label. So everything has been given, right?
Okay.
Now in the map, everything has been removed out. Okay. So because sometime it happens when map generates and for example, I give enter order as a different applications, not under it. Okay, let me just show you. Give me a minute. So I at modify this job and I just place it under different application name. All right. So I just give it as a name called control M. That's it. Not under the control M underscore test drive. Okay. This is the name I have just set up as an application. Right now, this job is very much here and there. But if I now place the thing under the application section, look at it. This has been here now, okay? And its successor has been somewhere else in the map, correct?
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
Because application has been differentiated. So that's why they have been differently placed.
Okay.
But in case if you directly go to the job level hierarchy, you want to see where close to each other, then you can see this way because other boundaries or other hierarchies has been removed. This level. Okay, so that is a
Okay.
difference. Got it?
Okay.
Fair enough. Now hierarchy is easy. Map list, we know it. Okay, when we do the listing, it's easy for us. So in the map, I think you can save the things in the Visio, which I shown you on that day. So if you want to see it again, then the full map can be generated. How you can save it? That save option is coming right here in the menu, file sections. Okay, so if I save as it, I can save a bitmap file, a .emf file here. My desktop, if I created the test, right? So test file. So it's in .emf format, and this is going to be open in the Paints or Visio also. People can open in the Visio if they have a Visio software installed it. Otherwise, in the Paint certainly you can see it.
Okay.
So someone can read out the process. So many often I think the team demands, the application team demands many often this requirement that can you show me the sequence, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they may be not using control M console and not maybe interested. So this kind of one-time screenshot will help them to understand their workflow.
And this will be irrespective of the active jobs, and it's for all jobs, right? Or only the active jobs?
It can be captured in the planning session as well. So there's only two section, right? Monitoring and planning, where you will see this the map, the dependencies chart. So you can capture this for planning and as well as monitoring sections. All job in the sense within monitoring sections, you have all job option or you have an option for filter your jobs. So
Yeah.
based on the filter criteria, you can filter, yes. So whatever session you are saving it, it depends upon what job you have in it. So for
Okay.
example, right now it's a all active job, so it has captured for all job. But if I want to narrow down just to 5 jobs by filter criteria, then I
Mm-hmm.
can capture it only for 5 jobs.
Got it. Okay.
So you can customize it as per your needs. Okay.
Okay.
Same thing. List sections will display. Sometimes in the list section, you don't see all the jobs, but you go to the view also in the list section, it go hand in hand and selected hierarchical jobs, or you just select all the jobs. If you want to select all the jobs, then click on the all the jobs. Okay.
Okay.
In the viewpoint and the view sections in combination. And once you have this information, the other thing you can do it here is you can right click and you can choose your column as well. If any field you want to bring it here, which is not available, then you can bring it. Mostly all the fields are already out there. Okay. So it's fine. If there is only one field is remaining is the most important status, which is same as a status, in fact. So I don't think
Okay.
it's a redundant field. Okay. Now this all jobs, if you want to, I just press Control A here. Control A means select all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to save this report, it will come into the Excel format.
Okay.
Okay. No, it's not test.emf, it's come in .xls format,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Once it's come into the .xl format, okay, but I have something, right? Maybe. So it's you can open it, okay? It's not an issue. I just have that my Excel is having an issue.
Yeah. I got it. It should be an Excel format then.
Yeah, it should be in Excel format, simple. Okay, comma separated values or something, CSV kind of. So you can see it, okay. Because yeah, not mine actually, it is BMC database, right? So BMC
Yeah.
index.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
So that's how it is. Fine. So that's where you can provide a list to anyone quickly.
Okay. And earlier you gone into the view, right? Can you click on that view? And
View. Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you went for the hierarchy, all jobs and selected hierarchy jobs. If you click on that,
Correct.
what is that
So
view?
all jobs, this means when you want to list, all the jobs here in the middle, this view, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometime what happens then you convert anything from map to list. For example, this is a map. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I come to the list and I just are part of here, so as a part of the hierarchy, for example, I just choose this record order or something. I would only see in the middle areas the only job which is part of the same sub application, only those jobs. Okay.
Okay.
So okay. But if you right now all jobs is selected. If I go back to the select hierarchy jobs, right? And uh, 1 minute, that is not taking up. So what happens normally if by default the select hierarchy job is always selected. So if you checking such as created job, okay, let me just take this way. Okay, I am in the map. I have
Mm-hmm.
chosen. Why it's not clicking on the left, man? Something is somewhere is wrong. Okay, let me just open. Sometimes these maps get into the trouble. Okay, no worries. Let me just reopen. Okay, all active
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah.
I expand all. No
Mm-hmm.
worries. Then I choose this enter order job. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I convert it into the list sections.
Okay.
What you're seeing here, only enter order because it is going as per the hierarchy. Okay, because I have
Okay.
only chosen this hierarchy, this enter order, batch services, control M, right? This is my hierarchy right now. So I'm seeing only those jobs which are part of that group or sub
Okay.
application or
Got it.
application. But if I click on the all jobs, then I could see the display of all the jobs in this section. Okay. So at time of export, this problem happens. Okay, why I am giving you, because this is often issues I have seen with the people that when they're trying to export the data in the list format, they have not chosen all the jobs, and that's why when they are selecting the job or store, exporting as a XLS format, they're finding the
Mm-hmm.
partial set of job, not all the jobs, because they have not clicked on it here.
Okay. How do we export all the jobs here? Like, what is the option?
That is just select all the job by pressing Control A. You have selected all the
Uh-huh.
jobs, correct? And then you
Uh-huh.
can go to the file and you can save as.
Oh, only save as is what you would mean to say export.
Right.
Okay.
Export in the sense is the, exporting the data, the list of the jobs in the Excel
Okay.
format.
Okay.
That's simple.
Got it.
Okay, that's what I meant.
I thought something else is the one. Okay.
That other export I'll cover later, as a part of the planning, which is an XML export, not XLS
Yeah.
export, XML.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So coming back to the viewpoint section. So these are our options in the viewpoints, map, list, and Gantt. Gantt is like a pictorial presentation, what time which job used to run. So the project chart, etc. So it is a timeline based, everything has been presented.
Okay.
Okay, which is going to run at what time and what has been run at what time. I think because it's a real time graph, so certainly it's not a futuristic that what is running what time, going to run what time, but it is actually what has run what time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Gantt is, I think in certain cases it's a useful. We again not frequently use it, but in certain cases certainly makes sense to use it. Okay.
Yeah.
Some quick options are here: rerun to job, hold the job, free the job, run now options. This is also in the part of the toolbar. Okay, the same option which you can get by right clicking the job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's available in the toolbar. So rather than right click, if you don't prefer it, you can just press here. Kill the job, restart the job, set to OK. Within the set to OK, I believe you will get two options. This again and again it's freezing and it's not allowing me in the, which I'm little doubtful that why it is happening. Why, what is freezing it here? If I have to click, I don't understand that. Maybe something there. The screen is reflecting slow or something is happening. Normally, I think you should be able to navigate the job from this left section. If you have to reach out to any job, you can do it quite easily. Batch services. Yeah. Yeah. It is working. Sometime it getting freeze, right? So that is little surprising. So for example, this job has not run, and if you want to directly put into the set to OK, you can do it. Okay.
Okay.
Of course, a job which has run and successfully, I think this option will not come. For example, if I choose this payroll job, this option is grayed out, correct? Because it has run.
Okay.
Similarly, if I choose this failed job, yes, I have an option and set to OK.
Will the successor run if it's set to okay, or
Yes, it will run because if you see there are two options are coming, set to OK,
it's
another
like
one is
just a force okay kind of thing then? Okay.
exactly. That's right. Absolutely. So it's a force OK. All right, so that is about it. Now, what other options are here? The confirm, if the job is on confirmation, this button will highlight against the job. The projection is would be highlight for every job which has not run. Delete and delete would be available if you hold the job first, then the delete and undelete button would be highlighted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For the deleted the job in the hold, the delete button would be highlighted, and for a deleted job, undelete button would be highlighted.
Got it.
Okay.
Mm.
External program are not enabled. If they are enabled, I think we could see some external programs as well, but we had to firstly activate them. What are those? We'll cover.
Sure.
uh, Now, we had a find option, which is a very important because day in, day out you need it. So with the find option or by directly pressing a control F, you will see, for example, if that has been open and if you want to close it, you can close this way. And you can directly open the find option by pressing control F. Okay, if I press on the screen the control F button, I will get this dialog box open, the find box open.
Mm-hmm.
In the find box, you can type any name to search the jobs. Okay.
Okay.
Here, if you want to narrow down your search, firstly, multiple options are there, and very next to the find button, this button is there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
currently, if you type anything, it will search in all these categories, means any that exact text or matching text under the application section, under the control resource name, description, host, job name, library, mem is again a script path, file path, and the file name or a script name, order ID, quantitative resources run as sub application, not just the job name. So it is going to search in all of these sections, which is by default selected. But if you want to narrow down your search, you don't want to search a job which by the name you're searching, if it is part of the application, you just want to search it only by the job name, then you can deselect all of these things. Okay, and just select the
Mm-hmm.
job. Correct.
Okay.
So that's the way you can, filter or make your search more effective. The other options is here is all entities. Okay, whether you want to filter this all entities means all the jobs currently in your
Mm-hmm.
diagram, currently in your viewpoint. If your viewpoint is already filtered, then it can do further filtering. For example, I have in my viewpoint is only the batch services job, no other jobs. Okay, the job where the application name is batch services or sub application name is the batch services. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And within that, I have some jobs in the running status, some job in the ended okay, some job is not started, some job in the failed status. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Further, if I have to filter it, only ended okay, ended not okay, I can do it by this button. Okay. Executing waiting conditions. So within the batch services, if I want to see ended not okay, okay, and I want to filter in that, it can just do it. Okay. Right now, it is doing for all the jobs, and then only under the ended not okay sections.
Okay.
All right. So if we want to test it, we can quickly do it. We know this job has been failed, right? So if I FNQC, if I just type FNQC and I enter or I click on the search button, I find only one. Otherwise, if I have not selected it, I would have got a lot of results. Correct? So right now
Mm-hmm.
we got under the ended not okay sections. But if I go to the ended okay sections, then I will not find this job, but I will find a lot of others. Correct? Which has been ended okay. 6 jobs. Okay. So that's a way you can narrow down based on the status codes. All right.
Okay.
The other options here is, let me minimize, yeah, the advance. What is an advance here? Uh, Advance is, for example, if you find 6 jobs here, as based on the search criterias, if you have to navigate between one or two or three, so this is just navigation button. So this finds 6 jobs. Now with this button, you can move to the other jobs, okay, every jobs, which you find as a
Okay.
filter, right? So it is moving into the map automatically. I mean, by clicking this button, not automatically, but by clicking this button. So you can
Okay.
reach out to the job. It's again, I mean, it's a very clumsy or very congested map. Then I think these buttons helps you a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Other option is advance. What is an advance is, in case this filter criteria is not good enough to you, which has control M server and this all areas, you want to build up some more advanced, then you can do from here. Okay. So in the this advanced sections, I think again some of options are the same what you can see there as well, such as job name, descriptions, control and servers, to filter your data, to search your data based on the advanced. Member name, member library, job type was not available there, so you can even select the job type here, the which type of job you want to select it. For example, you only want to select it job which are database type or the job which are SAP type. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can do by this selection, filter, this advanced option. Entity flags is what? Entity flags is about critical, cyclic, emergency. kind of. Task type is what we know it, right? Command type, detached type, job type, smart folder, task. Okay, so
Mhm.
that is where you can differentiate it. What other important differentiation could be? Workload policy run as is fine. I think that is there as well. Quantitative resource control resource was there in the regular find window as well. In condition name or date, that's also you can
Mm.
filter it. Then you can filter it by the job status, which was there, the next sections where you can filter. So it's just a same section, ended okay, ended not okay, not in AJF. Okay, so that is
Mhm.
option as well. State of the job. State of the job is held and not deleted. Okay, so here you can further filter your job which has been held or the job which has been not deleted. Okay, so
Okay.
that's you can another differentiation you can create it. You want to order ID, which is okay. Very rare we do it. Order date is important. If you want to filter, you have too many jobs, but you want to delete a job switch 2 days old, and
Mhm.
somehow they not got a chance to run. Okay, but they, because of their max weight or retention, they are still in the monitoring section and they are not flushed out its own
Mhm.
as after the new day, or at the time of the new day. So what you can do, you can just filter your job based on the order date, and you can find, because normally any job when we order into the system, it could be run within the same single new day in the next 24 hour, or at most we think it could be run in the 48 hours, right? Within the 2 new days. Why?
Mhm.
Because it may not run immediately. It may run, the condition dependency may not come in within 24 hour, may come in the 48 hours. Correct.
Yeah. Mhm.
For example, in my customer, I have an environment where the jobs run over the weekend. So we order all of the job because they run as a part of the sequence, one after other. Okay. So we can't say that some portion I can order on Friday and some portion I can order on Saturday and some portion I can order on Sunday, because I have to create a lot of dependency in such a way. And also I will create a delay because someday it could run faster, someday it could take a lot of time. But we
Mhm.
order all the job on Friday itself, but they don't finish on Friday. More often they finish by Sunday because it's a very long sequence of the job for the weekend schedules.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So in that cases, so you will find the job has not immediately finished, but you know that this is my maximum limit. 72 hours is a good enough time to any job to complete. I want to see how many jobs are staying there. So in such cases, by order date, you can filter it and you can identify that how many old jobs exist in your monitoring section, which you can manually hold, delete if you think those are no longer required.
Okay.
Okay, and yeah, so that is. But even these criterias, if not good enough, when you want to build even further advanced criterias, okay, based on it,
Mhm.
then you can go to this advanced criteria sections. Here you have two sections called including and excluding terms. So you can build up your filter criteria by including the terms and by excluding the terms. Okay, here you will find lot of options, similar options and more enhanced options as compared to that. For example, if I have to choose a SAP jobs, okay, or a database job, for example, let me go to the database. Within database job, I want to choose a job where database version is specific, database type is a specific, execution type, right? So I'm getting more parameters to filter or search my job, correct?
Mhm.
Which is not available in standard find window. Okay.
Mhm.
Within SAP job, so it brings lot of parameters from the modules. Okay, specific modules. So it is bringing those parameters. If you have those type of jobs, you can further filter them this way. All right.
Okay.
So that's how you can. And if you want to exclude specific conditions out of it, you can exclude it by excluding criteria as well. So that you can create this kind of complex criteria to search or find the required job which you want to do it.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this is about find in detail, that how you can find a job, because find is again a very common areas which is very frequently used in
Mhm.
monitoring section. I think it's primarily for operation team, but again, if you're leading the team and you are the L2 and L3 guy, then I think you have to lead your team also. You have to give them a way, how to do it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So now, next to the find, we had this order, right? Order and force, we have read it in the past also, how to order and force the job into the schedule.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
very often the team has to bring the new jobs or ad hoc schedule into the schedule, which is not scheduled for the today. And sometime even the job which is scheduled for today, someone can demand them to run as a ad hoc. They want to run that, okay, this job of my, though scheduled for today, but that runs overnight. And I don't want to touch that. I want to run my job immediately as an ad hoc run because I have something unfinished from the last day, so just clear
Mhm.
it out by this job. So what you can do, you can bring the same job from back order date or any other order date, so it will not conflict with the existing schedule. Correct. So for
Oh,
example,
we can bring that with the date as well, is it? Okay.
date as well. So their date will only help you out in terms of, I think you're not actually physically changing anything in terms of the date here. Why? Because when the job will run to the server, it will run from the current time and date, right? Only
Yeah.
difference would be by bringing the job from the back order date or the future order date is that it will not connect or show the connectivity with the existing schedule. That means it will not hamper your existing schedule. Correct?
Mm.
Now there are few options as well. For example, if I have to order a job, I go to the folder sections and I think I go to this all jobs, right? So there are all jobs, but if I have to select a job, then this way I can select my job, the one which I want to order it. So I have this one job here. Same thing if I have to do the list view, this is the grid view, tree view, and this is the list view, the single jobs. So you can flip between this grid and this one.
Okay.
Okay. For example, I choose typical job flow. Okay. So many jobs out there, correct? There's so
Yeah.
many jobs. And let me choose sample services or what it is. Let me just say the smallest one. Yeah. Here we have file process someone FNQC, correct? So if I have to choose just a job such as FNQC end, which is if you see in the left panel is already been run, correct? So if I to
Mhm.
just choose this FNQC end, I can just go and here you in this view you have to go and navigate. If there are so many jobs in the folder, I think it get difficult to you, okay, to search your
Mhm.
job. But if you know the name of the job, then flip it to the this particular and then type the name here. So it will easy
Okay.
filter for you, right?
Got it.
FNQC end, right? So FNQC end. Here we go. So if I choose this job, I have various options in the bottom. Ignore scheduling criteria. Yes, I can choose if the job is not scheduled for today. If I don't choose it, then the job may not order if it is not scheduled for today. Okay.
Mhm.
And then I can choose the other one is hold. Hold is always preferable when you're bringing any job into the system as an ad hoc, always come with the hold so you can get a chance to firstly verify everything and then to
Correct.
release it. Otherwise, as soon as
Yeah.
it will
Yeah.
come, you will run it.
Mhm.
Back order date, you can choose from here. Okay, even future you can pick up, but normally the future it waits for the order date. You have your option wait for order date to run. Okay, so this is also very helpful option that someone says that okay, I want to my job runs only Thursday. Okay, but
Mhm.
I want to because of the weekend there are some additional activities, so I want to run this job on ad hoc basis on weekends as well. Okay, uh,
Okay.
either you have a choice, you just have to perform the action in the point in time, means when new day happens or exactly when the job's supposed to run on weekends, you just going and every day log in over Friday, Saturday and Sunday and you ordering the job and let it run, correct? Or the other way around
Mhm.
is you can just schedule the three jobs in the future on the Thursday itself, or maybe on the Friday itself before you going on the weekend. Okay, so you don't need to
Yeah.
log in on the weekend. You simply set up the job for the weekends with the future order date, and you select the option called wait for order date to run. Okay,
Okay.
so that means the job you bringing into the schedule, it is available there. It will remain stay there, but it will not run unless until its order date is not has come. Okay, so I think this BMC environments runs 1 minute. Let me just see today's job
So
here only.
if it is the same job and I want to run that on Saturday and Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
so you do it twice order or
Yeah,
you do it
twice order.
once?
Twice order, two instances. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. So I think BMC sometimes runs. No, this is not running in the future, which is good. So let me just show you. Okay. So if I go and select this job, okay. The other part, the good part is here. Yeah. if you look at it, then when I am not choosing this, right? 1 minute, okay, that I'll cover later, no worries. Firstly, let's cover this example. So I am going to choose a future date first, right?
Okay.
So for example, 28th date, and I choose this option. If I don't choose this option, then there is no matter whether you choose a future one or you choose current one or you choose old one, everything is the same. Okay. If you choose this option, only then it is going to matter, because then it is giving you that order options. Okay, so I bring this job by order. Do you want to continue? Yeah, I want to continue. And the job has been ordered, and we can see in the left hand side it has come, right? And if I go to this job, it's certainly going to wait for its condition, and it's also saying a message in the left hand side. Right hand side, if you'll see, the job running date hasn't arrived yet at the required time zone.
Okay.
Okay, if there is any time zone, then it has to wait for its time zone order date, date. So date I have chosen as a in this job there is no time zone, but if time zone has come, I'll clear that concept also, because that is also a very complex concept. 28th
Okay.
has not come yet. Okay, so even if you release the job and everything you set up for it, it is not going to run immediately. It is going to run at its effective date. And if it's a timing in it, then it, after the date has come, the new day happened for that day, it will wait for the time as well, or other dependencies as well. Okay,
Okay.
all right, so that's how it is.
Yeah.
Now the same job, if I order, mm, you know by back order date options, or this current order date options, uh, back is again preferable, but yeah, 25th for example, or maybe 24th, because 25th might be still running there. It's a 26 to me, not for US or something. So if I order another instance of the job which has come here, okay, this job is going to run immediately because it is a back order date, correct? Though it is
Yeah.
going to wait for these two conditions, because these conditions are not available, or we can remove it and we can choose maybe run now if we have to run immediately, or if we have to let it wait for certain time, we can set it up to run it at
Okay.
certain time. Okay, but this is not going to run immediate, this is not going to wait for the condition. Why wait for the order date? Because it is past order date, the order date
Yeah.
already been
Past orders.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that is how the differences. Now other important differences which you can see in this version, which is also good, I believe. Let me just say that. Order as independent flow. Okay, so this is a very good options called order as independent flow. Order as independent flow is a good part in the order as independent flow is there, but it is the option which is not available on the individual job level. This is the option which is available to the entire folder level. So if you want to order the entire folder, okay, the complete folder, all the jobs in the complete folder, okay,
Okay.
based on the schedule of the job. For example, I have 40 jobs in the folder, out of which 30 is today's schedule, and if I don't choose the ignore scheduling criteria, then only 30 will come, correct? But if I am
Right.
choosing this criteria, then all 40 will come. But this order as independent flow is coming as a part, and which is difference, create a difference in this way. If the same folder is already exist in the system, okay, already in the monitoring section as a part of the regular schedule for today or current order date. So the order as independent flow will bring all the jobs from the folder by auto adjusting their dependencies in and out condition by adding some suffix out of against them, so that those jobs will not interact with the existing schedule at all.
Oh,
Okay,
it doesn't disturb that flow.
doesn't disturb, exactly.
Okay.
That the means. And that's where if you have some jobs to be repeatedly to be ordered multiple times in a day as a sequence, not as an individual job, that's where it makes sense that you can club them under that separate folder and give your operation team instruction that anytime your request comes in, just order them as an independent flow. Okay,
Okay.
so you see they can run multiple times in a day without disturbing each other in the sequence. Okay,
Right.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
let's see. I mean, let's see an example, not an issue at all. So, okay, so I'm just maybe, okay, that's also we can choose it. So if I choose it, select a folder or jobs to order, right? So if I choose a job here, the option will go away if you look at it. Okay, this is grayed out, correct? This option is
Right.
immediately
Right.
grayed out. But if I mm, choose an masking, what is the masking here? Masking is, okay, for example, let me just see the other way around. Mm, So if I choose with the masking is, let's say FNQC, right? Even this option is not there, right? But if I FNQ, okay. But if I keep a star, okay, the option is there because a star means every job, correct? But if I choose out of the service folder only FNQC job, which name is starting with the FNQC, the option is going away. FNQC, no, the option is going away, spot on. So the point is, let's order the folder. Okay, let's see this. All the jobs. I'm just choosing all the jobs, but I'm choosing only scheduled jobs. Okay, and see
Okay.
the difference. I'm just going to order it. Yeah, why not? The folder has been ordered. This is here. My hierarchy is right now, I believe, is not on the folder label or something. But let me just see it. Okay, if that's at that label. So if I go to this job, look at it. This is not interacting anywhere with this job. Okay. Do you see any conditions? Let me just see. It is going to anyone else. No, it is not going to any double job. Why? Because look at this job definition. Okay, I've not added the job definition. What is the in condition name is here? Is this one, right? 00700. And what is the out condition in the regular scheduled job is the same 0700, right? But if I go to the job which I have ordered, and if I look at their in conditions, what is their in conditions name? Okay, they have added some kind of suffix here,
Something different.
17668. Okay,
Okay.
automatically. Okay, and similarly they have added the same thing in the out condition. So automatically it has become a completely new sequence which is not
Okay.
interacting with the existing one, is still interacting their own dependencies. Okay, the internal dependencies are intact, but they're not connecting with existing job in the monitoring section. Okay,
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so that is a good option for certain case scenario basis. All right,
Yeah.
any questions here?
No, should be any other options in the order apart from these, like
Yeah, one
anything?
last option is the order is when you ordering a specific job or one job or maybe all the jobs, then you can add the dynamic variables then and there. So you don't have any variable, or you might be define any other variable. But if you want to give it a value at the time when you're ordering it, okay, so you can give it a value to that parameters. So at exactly on ad hoc, because ad hoc run means they want to clear something at a different time, correct? So for ad hoc run, if you want to give a different variable values to it, you can just give it a runtime.
Okay. What is the role does this variable plays in the any of the order jobs?
Variable is goes by the script, as per the script. So if script demands a variable to be passed on along with the script, okay. If a script's requirement is to
Okay.
accept couple of variable and without accepting minimum variable it cannot run, then you have to pass the variables, correct? So a
Okay.
script demand two arguments, correct? Two arguments or three arguments. So that's the case.
Okay. Got it.
Got
Okay.
it?
If you do it sleep instead of sleep, you do it love sleep 10 or something. The variable you pass it 10 value. It for the sleep it will
Correct.
take us 10 for everything.
Absolutely. Makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so your value can change as per that. That's all options we have it here.
Yeah. I haven't explored, but just I thought like maybe yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. I
See.
mean, the variable is the same thing if you have designed your script which demands a couple of parameters, correct? Additional parameters to run. You have defined the numbers, and even in the first statement of your script you have written if the input parameters are less than three, that fails. Say it, give the full parameter for minimum parameters, correct? So those parameters value, you normally pass something else, but as an ad hoc run, they want to differentiate. They don't want to give the value of the parameters the same what is normally runs, right? So in
Okay.
that cases, you can just give the different parameters. One example is your script at end has to release an email to someone, right? And that email address you want to change it, and you pass in the values of the email address or recipients as a part of the variable. Okay.
Okay.
So you can
Okay.
change that recipient's numbers. Similarly, you won't give numerical value to your parameters, but which you want to change it, okay, which could be anything
Got it.
in real world. So that is what you can just give it.
So this is applicable for any of the folder in the job, right? It might be the out condition or in condition, everything. Is it?
This is applicable depend upon how many jobs you're going to order. If I am going to order all the jobs of the folder, then this variable will get added into all the jobs of the folder. But that doesn't mean
Okay.
it impact your job execution, because if your script doesn't demand any variable, then even you are passing the variable, it will be discarded.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So even I am unnecessarily passing, or my definition is just copy and paste from another job. Other job might be required, but this job may not be required. My variable would be discarded at the runtime. Why? Because the script doesn't demand any variable, so it is not going to accept any variable.
Got it.
It will
Okay.
simply run, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so that is about all the order and force options in the first viewpoint section. So I think we have covered all the options one by one here, right?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Now one more last options. I don't know whether it's here or not. Let's see, it is here or somewhere. Okay, so it is not here. Just surprising to me. They should have given here. Mm, okay, no worries. So I come back here. Okay, before I move to the tool sections. Yeah, and come back to the viewpoint section. So one more options is there which we frequently use it. So for example, I have right now all active jobs, okay, which is
Mhm.
a default viewpoint criteria has been defined. Normally in every time when you install it, this is come by default, at first time
Mhm.
installation, which you can further change it based on your needs, but normally it comes its own. Now within this viewpoint which I have opened as a part of all active job, I have to filter the data. Okay, so various ways I have told you, right? For example, I am troubleshooting a one job and I want to check, how this job is. I want to order a, just uh, waiting info options, correct? I'm using the waiting or info options, and I just want to customize that how many job is waiting for. So the moment I click on this, open in another viewpoint, this sequence. So this job check
Mhm.
credit, I know it is waiting for record order, and then record order is waiting for validate order, and validate order is waiting for enter order, right?
Mhm.
And if I have to open it, this can be open in the separate viewpoint. So this is just 4 job viewpoint. It is just in the 4 jobs, the one which I required to
Okay.
analyze it, which is fine. But within that, if I have to just differentiate it and filter the data, then I can press button called Control D, Control F for search, Control D for dynamic filter. Okay. So
Okay.
if I press the Control D, I will see this kind of customizable filter options. Okay. This is same as an advanced find. The only difference with this and advanced find is the advanced find, when you will search something by filling the details here, you will find the result of the find right in the same pane. Okay. The where your current viewpoint is open. Correct. So for
Okay.
example, I have this advanced find option, right? This advanced find. So what I do is FNQC, right? If I search by the FNQC star, correct, and
Mhm.
I choose it only ended OK jobs or ended failure jobs, right? Where it is, man? Here we go. And I choose within only ended OK jobs, right?
Mhm.
If I choose it, some of the search values are invalid. What are the search values are invalid? Job name is FNQC. What is invalid here? FNQC. Anything is invalid. Okay, match cases. Not match cases. Some of the values, okay, maybe star is not. Okay, which is okay. If it is not taking a star, surprising to me. Some of the values, what other values, man, I have given here? Okay, advanced
Uh,
criteria, maybe. Yeah, this one, I think sometime I press it, right? So this
mhm.
is here coming. That's the problem, right? So it is the extra entry in the advanced section was creating a problem to me. Now, if I search this job, I get a result right here in the search result, right? In the same pane.
Mhm.
And I got the 6 jobs here. But if I have to customize this result into the separate viewpoint or in the same viewpoint, what I can do, I will this time press Control D. So this was called customizable filter, not the customizable find. Okay. The criteria would be I keep same FNQC star, right? And I keep the criteria as the same. And did okay. Now what happens? My view has got customized. Now I am only left with the 6 jobs in my viewpoint because I just
Mhm.
have filter it and I have with my search criteria. So rest of the job has been suppressed. I mean removed because this is my customized viewpoint. Okay,
Mhm.
which I can just create dynamically, dynamic filter. We say it. Okay, so within this all active jobs, by using this Control D customizable filter option, I just filter my data. So I had the 100+ jobs in the all active jobs viewpoint, but I want to only look at the 6 job to analyze them. So I just had these 6 jobs. Okay,
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now going back to the all active jobs. Uh, you have to reopen it because that's how does it work, because if even I clear them, I think that will open all the jobs. So it is better that I go back to the all
If
active
we
jobs.
want to, if we want to customize this viewpoints, is there a way that every individual has to do it? Like whenever the, uh,
So this is the option which I have told you is a dynamic filter. Dynamic filter is anyone can do it, okay, and not every, no, why you need to do it. The point is here is the why you need to do it. So you had 10,000 job in all active jobs, correct?
Mhm.
Which you have opened for your just general purpose. But not every job you need to troubleshoot, right? Sometime your inquiries comes for only to analyze certain jobs because inquiry is related to certain jobs and you want to
Sure.
analyze them, that how happen. So you can
Mhm.
filter them dynamically within the same viewpoint because these are the dynamic inquiries, correct? So it's not
Mhm.
possible to you can create a permanent filters for them. You will create a
Okay.
permanent filter for those cases which are more frequent cases. Okay,
Okay.
segregation. But these are just every day I mean, we used to receive every day 10 or 15 inquiries like this sequence has not run. I mean, in case if there are problems or can you give me analysis, what time they run or etc. So you can filter your data. Okay, and
Okay.
quickly generated results, whether you want to list view, you want to provide the list to them, you can do that,
Mhm.
that's the way.
Okay.
So that would
Okay.
be the easiest way for day in, day out operations.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, so that is about all the options in the viewpoint sections, I will say. So let's move on to the next sections called tools within the monitoring domain. Tools, we have alert window. Alert window is the same as the in the past. You have seen it, right? So there is a dedicated alert window based on the settings. By default, every failure would be generating an alert called ended not okay. And in certain other situation also the alerts are being generated which is you can customize. For example, if you don't want to generate these alerts for these cases, then you can just uh, customize it not to generate automatic alerts. So there are options. What are those options? Because normally what we get it here is alerts is about the job status changes. And it not okay could be a default alert. Rest additional alerts such as job is overrunning, job has run more than 10 minutes, job has not started by the 1 p.m. These are the alert you have to create as a part of the job definition. If those are part of the job definition, then yes, those would be reflecting here. If you have destined or create a destination of those alerts to coming to the alert screen. If you have given a destination anything else, which could be email or any other console or in the log file, then yeah, they would not reflect here. But ended not okay or some status changes alerts of the component will directly reflect here because those are part of the default configurations. But if you want to customize your configuration, for example, you see that I don't want to receive this alert status of agent change. Every time a status of agent change, I used to receive dates. For example, cannot connect to remedy. Okay, it is the alert is coming, but I know that I am not using the remedy at all in my environment. Okay. By default, the BMC turn on some kind of configuration because remedy is the BMC product, control M is
Correct.
BMC product, so they have just turned on. But I'm not interested in it, so I can go and suppress this alert. Okay, somewhere where those settings are, we can look at it. Okay. So these kind of cases, for example, even ended okay and ended not okay alerts, you don't want to receive those alerts. Okay, ended not okay unless you have given in the job definition. Okay, so this default alert, you want to suppress it, you can suppress it. Okay, where we'll see it. Cannot connect to the remedy is very frequent. Status of change to available, unavailable is fine. Fail to delete condition, I think these are unwanted alert to me. Okay, I don't want to react on it, so what I can go, I can delete, remove this kind of alerts as well coming directly. Otherwise these are by the default nature, so they used to come in. Okay, so alert screen is similar, familiar with, only thing they have just changed, make it plain simple, severity is. But if you want to go back, I think they have given an option there, colorful, this is only options here. It's not very intuitive, just to color coding based on the severity. Very urgent are in red, normal are in yellow. Correct. And if there should have been urgent, I believe should have been in a orange or something.
And these alert are only for that particular day, new day, right? One day.
No, it is based on the retention. You could have even the 100 days alerts here. It depends upon if
Oh,
your retention is allowed to you to stay. Even the jobs have been gone away and everything has gone away, the alert may stay. Okay.
okay.
Just not just for new day to new day. It could be historical as well. Okay. All right. So there's not much of the only options good is here is the locate job. So for example, this job has failed. This is a separate screen altogether. I want to go back all active job. I have to copy and paste, right? The job name, and then I can easily figure out. But now they have created a hyperlink from here. So you can just click here and you can reach out to that job.
Okay.
Okay, so I am reaching out here, correct? I got it
Okay.
directly here in my open viewpoint. So you can easily figure out which alert it has been. Otherwise, the best part in the past have been when this option wasn't there, go by the order ID, because order ID is always unique, right? Even if you go by the job name, you could be confused if the multiple job with the same name in the AJF, right? Order ID is always unique. You just go and you can rightly pinpoint the exact job which has created this alert. Okay. The
Okay.
failure alert could be pinpointed. Agent alert, I don't think you can pinpoint because agent alert is like simple. This should be coming as a system generated event. That means the control and server is tracking the status of the agent and then it is generating an alert. So there is no job association here. There is no associated job here because it's not coming out of the job. It is coming out of the system monitored events, right? Connecting to remedies, again it is coming out of the job, so we can figure it out why this job is doing it. Okay, so if I go to this job, it must have some kind of setting it is trying to connect to the remedy in its definition, and that's why it is generating this alert. On do action when job ended not okay, open remedy ticket. And because we do not have in the backend any configuration between control M and remedy, so it is just throwing an alert that cannot connect to the remedy, because you have to define some kind of connectivity to make this work. All right, so alert screen is a simple, straightforward. Nowadays I don't know how many people use it. Historically every monitoring was based on the alert screen, but now today's world everyone want an automated procedure. Okay, so no one is manually monitoring the things, but it is good referential sometime when you want to reference it, so you can go and check it. All right, handle read is just an options. If you're really following this screen, for monitoring point of view, then probably read and handle works to you well, because what happens that you have to create as any other monitoring tools or standard monitoring tools, you have some rules over there. Okay, for example, if your alarm has been read. So your alarm has been read, fine, it is good. But if your alarm has been resolved, that means it is going to be clean up, correct? So because it has been resolved. And sometime in any monitoring tools, we used to have this kind of logic where if your last alarm has been resolved, then new alarm can regenerate. Okay, probably in just an example, you had a job failure, which is a cyclic job, correct? It has generated an alarm. It runs in every 10 minutes. It keep on running every 10 minutes, keep on failing. You have open a ticket or alarm. and then that ticket has been, within a 2 hours, the ticket has been resolved, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Some by someone. Okay, so the alarm which was generated at the first failure and the alarm which are successive failures until in these 2 hours, not going to generate the new tickets, because that is not a correct procedure. You can't generate the 20 tickets for one failure, correct? Because after
Okay.
all,
Yeah.
it's the same failure. So if you're opening up that ticket, uh, and the ticket, unless it is not resolved, the new alarms coming against the failure
Mm-hmm.
are being ignored. Okay, and the moment
Okay.
the ticket has been resolved, the new alarm would be considered as a fresh alarm, so that it can reopen the ticket. Not the old ticket it can reopen, but it can create another ticket, because maybe
Okay.
someone has just given a temporary workaround and resolved the ticket, not permanent workaround. So the job will run sometime successful, and then again another 1 or 2 hour it start failing. Correct.
Okay.
So that is a sequence, to define it whether when the alarm should be clear or not. So somewhere where there is an end-to-end integration, you can create this kind of logic. Very often it has been created, that if the last ticket or alarm has been resolved, then it new alarm could be considered as a fresh. Otherwise, the successive alarms relate, with the same category, same type, same content should be ignored. Okay.
Okay.
So they have given here read and handle. The read means you have read it, okay, unread to read. So if I have click on this alarm unread to read, its status will change it. Okay, uh, this is read, right? And when I click on the handle, then means handle. What happens with the handle is, uh, by default there is some values in the backend, in the configuration of the enterprise manager. It is part, alert screen is a part of enterprise manager, it's not part of the control m server. Okay, so alert screen is
Mm-hmm.
a part of enterprise manager. By default we have some settings in the enterprise manager which give the maximum number of alarms can stays in the alert screen, which you can increase or decrease as per your convenience. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so if handled alarms numbers cross that threshold, then the handled
Mm-hmm.
alarms would be cleaned. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that limit is always for the handled alarms. Otherwise, you can have 100,000 alarms as a unread status or read status. You can stays in the alarm screen. But when that limit, whatever the default value is there, when it come into the picture, it come into the picture for handled alarm. So it firstly start if I have a limit called 5,000 there, so if
Mm-hmm.
there are more than 5,000 handled alarm, it will delete those alarms.
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense because it is already been resolved, right? So no,
It
no
is
question of
exactly so.
stake here. Yeah.
It is just been, but I think it's not very elaborated monitoring screens. I would say it just, they have not worked on too much on this. It is almost going on the same what it was previously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why? Because nowadays no one using these kind of dedicated. In the past 10 days back, if you look at it in the control M, there were not very significant tools which could be easily integrated. Correct. That point of time, it was a necessity that you have some kind of dedicated console to monitor the alarm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So this is about alert screen. Now, what is a service monitor? Service monitor is a monitor. Um, you can create a BIM type of job. Batch impact manager we have discussed, right? I have shown you in the diagrams in the past. The batch
Mm-hmm.
impact manager. What is the role of the batch impact manager? So the role of the batch impact manager is, let me reach out. Okay, let me reopen. Any batch impact manager. I think many people has created here in the lab. Service monitor. Okay, what is the service monitor is coming, and how is it giving you some advanced level of intelligence in the jobs? Okay, I have some I mean, we have in this environment some pre-configured as a part of lab. We can just create our own also. Okay, so if you look at
Okay.
it, this service monitor, there are services in the service monitor. What are the services? Services is nothing but a combination of the job which I have defined. So if I have multiple jobs in my environment and some particular sequence which comprises 20 jobs, for example. Okay, I could consider these are my financial, uh, you know, month end jobs. Maybe, any criteria you can say it, or you can align it with the application strategy. That application team says when these bunch of jobs or 20, 15 numbers are completed, my this calculation or my this update gets complete. Okay.
Okay.
So you can give it more business oriented name to it as per the business requirement or as per the application requirement. Otherwise, what we used to do in control, and we give any job name or what our application team is offering us, correct? Uh,
Yeah.
so those job name is more in a granular level, but when it is a business terms, that business is not interested that you run 50 job or 60 job. They want to run whether my financial processing is over or not, correct?
Hmm. Yeah.
But that financial processing in the granular level is comprising number of jobs, is a combination of number of jobs, right?
Hmm.
So to give them a common name which business can understand or anyone else can understand it, you can give them as a name called service.
Okay.
Okay. And service includes the number of jobs. And how does it include? What we do in the end of the sequence, we create a batch impact manager job, which is a normal job, but a type of the batch impact manager. Okay.
Okay.
And which is tracking continuously the last job from which it is getting a condition. Okay. So because we have placed the job in the last in the sequence, so it is waiting for the condition from last of the job, right?
Hmm.
But just by waiting that condition, it is actually tracking the entire sequence. Okay, how it
Okay.
is? Because by predecessor to predecessor to predecessor to predecessor, and that's logic. So it is just checking
Okay.
that entire sequence.
Okay.
And that all jobs automatically come under the control of this service monitor job or batch impact manager job. So by just having a one condition in the last job of the sequence, it can actually monitor the entire sequence. When I say actual monitoring means traditional way, if you have to monitor your 11 jobs, how you will monitor them? You have to go
Well, yeah.
you have to go in each and every job definition and you have to generate the rules in each and every job definition, correct? Whether this job
Hmm.
is overshoot 10 minutes, then I should get this alert. This job doesn't run by this time, then I should get this alert. But these are very, very static values or hard coded values, right? Which is very
Hmm.
difficult to manage.
Hmm.
But if you have to manage by a single job, by changing the value in the single job, you can easily manipulate their monitoring criterias. Then I think you will prefer it, right?
Yeah.
So come to the click on is this. For example, I have chosen this one. I click on analysis window. Okay.
Okay.
Firstly, I show you so you can realize it, and then I come back here. What information you can see here. Okay. This analysis
Hmm.
window open the jobs which are encircled or inclusive in that service viewpoint or service. Okay, or we can simply say the service. Service name was what? The service name was daily order processing.
Daily
It
order
was a name we have
process.
given. This is the name we have given here, correct? And I can see now all the jobs in daily order processing. It is simple sequence. That's it.
Hmm. Okay.
Even if I go to this view and I just remove everything in a hierarchy so I can see, otherwise jobs are placed in the map here and there due to their difference in the application name. Okay. Now the job is coming
Hmm.
simple, right? The sequence
Yeah.
is coming. How it is convert into the service? Otherwise, these were the simple jobs because of this job, which is set up in the last. Okay, and which is
Hmm.
actually only tracking inventory report and ship order, which is actually getting a condition only from inventory report and ship order, right? This job is
Hmm.
just a special type, which is batch impact manager jobs. Okay, if you look at the job type is batch impact manager.
Okay.
Okay, now what is doing? Is it ship order inventory report? Eventually, it is uh, you know inventory report predecessor past orders, past manufacturing. Uh, right. Mm, okay, I press on the rearrange and now my map is much better. Last order is
Hmm.
waiting for billing and billing and manufacturing are waiting for record order validate order, and so this is all it is monitoring. The other
Hmm.
sequence it is also monitoring here, submit order is waiting for check credit and for the record order, validate order, which is a common portion of both of the sequence. Is by just having these two dependencies, it is monitoring for all of those. Now, how you can generate a monitoring alert in it? So this batch impact manager is otherwise is a kind of dummy job, okay, because it's not a real job, it's just a monitoring job, so it is not going to run anything. Okay, we can define within this job some of the monitoring criterias. What are those monitoring criterias are? First monitoring criteria, this entire service should be complete by this time or in these many hours or days. Okay. So the moment these jobs come into the schedule, maybe right after the new day or maybe sometime later in the day as part of the user daily sequence, that calculation will start from there. Okay, so it overcome a lot of the challenges which we have with the hard-coded static monitoring. What are the challenges in the static monitoring is, in the static monitoring, if you go to the job definition, for example, in static monitoring, what you can do, you can only go to the job section and you can generate these kind of alert notification before job completion, such as job is not submitted by this time, or the job has been, execution time is for this one not finished by this time, correct? In these static monitoring, the challenge is you can only generate for not started by this time or not completed by this time only for 24 hour, because if more than 24-hour logic you apply in this kind of a static monitoring, that always got confused and you got a wrong alert. Why you got a wrong alert? Because new day to new date cannot understand it. Okay, so if my job is 7 a.m. is my new day time, and I want an alert that if this job doesn't run by order today, but if it doesn't get complete by tomorrow 8 a.m., what you will give? You will give an 8 a.m. value, and 8 a.m. alert will come on the same day. Why? Because the moment the job order on the 7 a.m., 8 a.m. it will say no, I have not started. Okay, and it will give, but your actual alert is mean to the next day. Got it?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. But with the batch impact manager, very simple. You don't need to go into that. You just simple say that if your sequence is ordered today, but your maximum timeline, you're defining your sequence to be completed by, by 12 p.m. of tomorrow. So I just give 12 p.m. here, right? 12 in 24-hour sequence plus 1 day.
Okay.
Or in absolute hour, if I have to give it, for example, the sequence can complete in 24 hour plus another 12 hour, 36 hours. I can give it here 36 hours. All right.
Okay.
So that's the way it can just track the entire sequence. Now, this is not just one thing, but there are many other kind of actions you can generate it. What kind of actions you can generate it? Job failure on service path. That means any job up to the top to the bottom, if fails by this logic in the single, you can generate an alert. You don't need to dependent on, hard coding the failure messages in each and every job. All right. And there would be certain auto-generated emails you can generate against it, or alert in the alarm screen based on where you want to notify. Do notify, and you do mail as well. Okay. And you have a multiple option do mail, right? You can give an email and that just can reach out. Correct. So there are various options. Do notify is also you can work it, but you have to define the destination. Okay, if you define the destination, then it can reach out to the destination. The subject line you can modify here. Otherwise, if your service name is a good enough or business oriented, you can get in the subject line these kind of messages. Percent service name is actual service name, so it would be replaced by here a daily order processing. So the service daily order processing contains failed jobs. Following jobs are problematic, and it automatically lists down the failed jobs in the sequence. Okay, if more than one, it will list down more than one.
Okay. So these are just a dummy, and it's not any job and all. It just provides
It is not
the
any
alert.
job, it's just a monitoring. Okay, it's just giving you the monitoring feature. Exactly. That is not an actual job at all. Its
Okay.
purpose is only to get completed if all the job completed on time, or otherwise raise an alarm if there is a situation. Okay. Only thing
Okay.
is by controlling, by editing a single job, you get opportunity to control the entire sequence. You don't need to go into the each and every job to separately define the rules.
Okay. Gotcha.
Got it. So other than this, the service is late, which is good, because if you have defined certain timeline of your service, which you have defined here, if you look at it, service must complete by these many hours at this particular time. If service is going to be late, you get an alert, that your service is, and the service late alert will not come when the services actually become late. Okay, the service late alert can come when service is projected to be late. Okay,
Okay.
so this is something, a very good thing. I mean, sometime one or two fine tuning you have to do it by understanding this, feature. But it is good because many times if you really raising an alarm when your time is already passed, you are too late to detect it, correct? Because if you could have identified it much ahead of time, I think that makes sense because you could have a buffer in end to fix it. But if you're really
Hmm.
coming to the deadline and then you're realizing my thing are late, then I think you lost sufficient time and you're going to be late. Correct. So it can project it to be late. For example, it helps you for if I delete any job in the sequence or if there is a missing job in the sequence. So the moment these jobs order into the AJF, active environment, immediately it can say to you that, okay, this sequence is not going to run. Why? Because there is a missing part in the sequence. Any job in fail status, yes, it can raise an alarm. It can say you, if you don't fix it, you're going to be late. Okay.
Okay.
If any job ran too long, finished too quickly, service ended okay, not okay, service late past deadline. So sometimes we used to have a one. I personally have felt it that uh, in the real world, you used to got a one alarms. Okay, we can create one alarm pretty easily, but when it is about repeated alarms, we find a challenge in the job definitions. Okay, that is also overcome by this option service late past deadline. Why? Because uh, normally it happens that if you're just generating a one alarm, people can miss it. Okay,
Hmm.
so you have to give them a reminders as well, so it can get into their notice.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So for
Okay.
example, if I have defined any deadline based on these values, or service must complete by 0 hours or 45 minutes, etc., etc. But this is only creating a one alarm when service is going to be late. What if this deadline has been passed? I can further extend my deadline, or I can certainly notify and I can further extend my deadline by extend service due time for another 30 minutes to give the flow another 30 minutes. Okay. So that if it is further overshoot the another 30 minutes, I can get another alert. Okay. So it auto advance itself. And the second thing, not only it auto advance itself, it also help you in getting repeated alarms unless the sequence is completely complete. Okay.
Okay.
So this is how this service monitor actually works. So whenever you set up any batch impact manager job to monitor entire sequence, the service monitor automatically reflect that. Okay, you don't need to separately create any services. You just simply, automatically a service will generate whatever with the name, whatever you have defined here. Service name, whatever you have defined in the service name section. Okay, you want to give a
Okay.
different name, you can give it whatever business logic makes.
Okay.
All right. Now, what other insight it can offer to you is this is a normal viewpoint. So I'm not going into it because it's just giving you the summary and then it is giving you like a normal job details about it. Uh, that this is a BIM type of job, it is a dummy job. This is just giving it, okay, and the service must complete by this hour in the synopsis. But if you business services and business service view is giving you the summary about it, how many jobs in the service, 11 jobs in the critical path, all 11, without statistics is 8 by 8, 1 by 1, time gap 2 by 2, etc., etc. But if you come to the service monitor, you can get a lot of intelligence answer is here. For example, this is giving you a very good brief here. The job enter order should have started by this time and will not start the time. The reason is the job is waiting for manual confirmation. Correct? So
Yeah.
it is
Okay.
very elaborated information, which is auto coming and helping you to understand the defaults in your sequence or the challenges of your sequence through the BIM job. Okay, so when there is a large sequence, by just placing a job at the right place where you think or your application guys thinks that this is the right place because this is my checkpoint job. Okay, up to this point, if my flow is completed, I consider my part one is completed.
Okay.
Okay, if you place a BIM job there, you can get this kind of answer if you see your sequence has any issues.
Okay. And
Okay,
all these BIM jobs is also created in the planning section, right? So this is just a monitoring over here, the one which is already
absolutely.
created.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. So it is clearly giving you the message that the status is not good for this process. Why? Because the service is late. The deadline was this, but it is already overshoot, and whether it's going to start or is already in flight. No, it is not in flight. It is not going to start because the first job is in the confirmation mode. Estimated end time, we don't know. Why? Because it is not in flight at the moment. How many jobs in there? 11, out of which how many completed? 0. Jobs without statistics is 8. The jobs priority is fine, etc. etc. All right.
Okay.
And order time was this. Last status update was this kind of. Service log is about when it turned into the OK. So when it was order was around 2007. It was ordered. And 2007, because I think I forced it, right, this sequence or entire folder, and then it turned into the immediately not okay status, and then it periodically checked itself after some time, and it found it's still in the not okay status. In the problematic sections, you find the problem where it is, and there's some additional warning messages if it is exists, such as information status. Okay. Integration, if it is there, you can see the tickets. Okay, for example, it's showing some ticket has been open. I don't know which ticket is talking about, but we can see that back. But if there is any ticketing tool integration, then probably that number can be captured.
Okay.
All right. So this is a one way of service monitors in which the service will be reflecting. Other way I'll cover you separately. Okay. So this is the one of the way where batch impact job automatically shows you as a service, and you can effectively monitor your sequence. Got
Okay.
it. So that is the role of the the batch
So
impact
while
monitor.
defining the BIM job, so you also have those predecessor jobs also been there. I'm not sure, like, how does it reflect in the planning section?
Yeah, without predecessor doesn't make sense. If you create a BIM job which do not have any predecessor, there's no use of it at all. Okay, so you need to have a predecessor,
Yeah,
whom
yeah.
you want,
Since I
which
haven't
one
seen
you
that,
want to
probably
monitor.
once we do it in planning, we'll get to know that. Yeah.
Correct. Okay, so you should have it because a job, BIM job, which is coming, which is not going to monitor anything, there's no dependency on it, then uh, there's no use of it. It will just come
Correct.
maybe completed immediately, right? And which is not a
Yeah.
purpose of it.
Yeah.
So service monitor is here. Manage file transfer is here in case you're using the manage file transfer sections. Okay, so that can come. There's a separate design, some separate console is there completely, which can open all the files which has been transfers in the last 24 hour, last 7 days, kind of dashboard or so. Okay, if you're using any file transfer jobs. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, if you want to differentiate your dashboard, you can just do it by adding a wizard, traffic load, active connection, because managed file transfer is completely separately purchase product. It is a good if you do not have any other middleware solution in your environment. Okay, because what is the role of it? It's a middleware. File transfer
Mhm.
is a part of the middleware segment.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Right. So if you have any other solution, I don't think anyone use the managed file transfer. But if you do not using, you don't want to spend money on other, because they might not be that much useful, then maybe you could purchase the managed file transfer from the BMC, and that may help you a lot.
Okay.
Okay. And because file transfer itself is a big area to be managed, right? So they have now creating a lot of new separate consoles to monitor it effectively. Not monitor, but manage it effectively. Okay. For
Yeah.
example, active connections, traffic load, file transfer status, you can create your own dashboard here. All
So
right.
this is just for monitoring purpose here. I mean, what exactly we do check here, if
We
it is
actually
that.
create, yeah, that exactly for monitoring purpose. If I am running 100, 200 jobs at any time, and I want to see in my dashboard, how these jobs are look like, what are their transfer rate is going on, so I can see that
Oh,
transfer rate. Okay. Active connections, because if I think number of connections from my FTP server is going high, then I can see, what is the active connections configurations as GB per second, active connection between two hosts by either the bit rate of the connection or durations. So if my transfer is going on between 10 nodes, whether they are progressing well, what is speed, correct? So those speeds
mhm.
and etc. You can measure it here. And number of files, MB, KB, how much data, file transfer status, just a status that whether the job has been completed or not. Okay. So kind of dashboard it is, except I wouldn't say there's any other utilities here. It's just a dashboard. Okay.
Okay.
This is a separate search criteria for the manage file transfer where you can see the search and you can see the entries separately. You can see as a job as well, the same job. If you want to check it, you can go and it will reach out to the active job, right? So it is here. But in the manage file transfer also you can see them separately, and some of the the details about it, that its source path was this, it was attempting SFTP, destination path was this, destination protocol was this, and where to where it is actually doing that definition you will see in the win plus win profile. Okay, what has been the source host name and what has been the destination host name, it will not reflect here, but it will reflect in the profile details. Okay, because in the profiles you can define uh, okay, look at the properties of the job. So here is OS type Windows, user is this, control M, so it is the host name slash control M, that is what given. This is the source, this is the destination. So source and destination are the same server here. Only thing what we have differentiated it between the source directory and the destination directory. Okay, so that is what we have differentiated. Then we have captured some of the the standard file transfer logic. So again, it is full separate topic altogether when you manage the file transfer, correct? um, Source options, what you want to decide it, and SFTP options, whether you want to compress it, compression techniques, etc. There is any additional commands you want to run it, the pre-command or something when you want to zip PGP your files, uh, different cases. So that is there, but I think the advanced file transfer itself is a big topic. So if you look at it, source and destination is attempted, and I believe it got failed. There should be some kind of an output here. The output is saying failed to connect to the host. Control M, because username or password may not be working. Okay, someone has attempted it. It's a lab environment, so might be someone has attempted it. Local host is a control M. Host control M, username host 2, right? Number of transfers 1. Local host failed to connect to the host, connection refused. Connection to SFTP server, it couldn't be established. The job failed due to connection to the host couldn't be established. Job executed with the error. That's it. Okay, because it might not be set up effectively. That's fine. So manage file transfer can have a separate console in case you really are using it. If you have installed it in the environment, if it is not installed it, I think this wouldn't be highlighted, grayed out.
Okay.
Okay. Control resources is so if you recall your knowledge about the version 7, control resources is the one thing which we don't define it, okay, anywhere. Though there is option, I think this is, I believe, is always a confusing option. The people think they have to define the control resource somewhere. No, you don't need to define the control resources. Control resources only need to be defined in the job definition. They do not need to be defined separately or do not need to be separately proved somewhere. If two jobs having the same name of the control resources, they could have the two logic, whether the resource could be in the shared mode or in the exclusive mode, correct? And if they are in the shared mode, both of the job using the shared mode, then both of the job can run at the same time. Okay, if they attempting to run at the same time, they can run it. But if one job is using shared mode or other job is using exclusive mode, so if exclusive job has started first, the shared job will wait, because exclusive means unless the exclusive job doesn't release it, the other cannot use it. Okay.
Yeah.
Or if the shared job has started first and exclusive is not started, then exclusive will wait for share to complete, because it can only occupy in the exclusive state. Okay, that's the logic. And both jobs are exclusive, then one will run at a time, the other will not run at all. Even shared exclusive, one will run at a time. Okay, exclusive means simple, only one can run at a time when it occupies. Okay, so not the other one. So that means that is the logic. So what is this screen is all about? This screen is all about if any job is currently using any exclusive resource or shared resources, right? Then you can see it here. Okay, if they are executing right now, so you can see which job is using it. But nowadays there are a lot of options. Okay, it's not necessary you have to come here, you can directly see from here as well, correct? So for example, I run this job, sleep 12, correct? Let me just run. Okay, no, and I define a resource here, control resource, test. and I define it in the maybe shared or exclusive, right? And then I start this job. And I choose the run now. It is going to be stay for 6:12, right? 20 minutes. So that is a good time to us to see it. So for example, if I go to this screen now and I refresh, no, it is not using. Where it is gone, man. Control M server share exclusive. 1 minute. It has. Did it save or I cancelled it? What did I did? Test is there exclusively. It would have captured by now. Okay, let's look at the log whether it has captured. It should have captured. Okay, submitted, executing. Wait. Oh shit. Sorry. Because I have bypassed everything, right? So it has even bypassed
Oh,
the
you
control
bypassed that.
resource. It
Oh,
has
okay,
not.
okay.
Okay. So do one thing. Let's see this way. Kill. Okay. I'm just killing it and then I'll going to restart it. Okay. And then I'm going to rerun it. When I'm going to rerun it, it will going to wait for its condition because when bypass, everything has been bypassed, right? Now in the run now, I'm using the selective options
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Okay, so time limits, in conditions, quantitative resources. Okay, maybe not quantitative resources, that's it, right? And now I run it. The moment I click on it, I think it should have started. Just a minute. Yeah, it started, right? This time it should have occupied the control resource for sure. Look at the log now, the difference between the log then and now. This time, now we see here I have killed it, I have rerun it, I have choose these options, run out time limit, in condition are
Time
done,
condition.
quantitative
Yeah.
resource has been occupied, allocated, and control resource also been allocated. Correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So now it will reflect in my control resource screen. Uh, Here's the entry. So this screen is all about to check which job has occupied the resource. That's it.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Okay.
Okay. Even if you go by this test and a lot of filter criterias, because now you can do it, right? Filter criterias. If I have a control F and advanced filter criteria, I can easily figure it out.
Why do we usually use the control resources and plant
Just to create a
resources?
dependencies. I think it's a very common use of it that someone says that two jobs should not run simultaneously. Exclusivity,
Only
right?
because of that. Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because they might be locking the same table, attempting to
Mhm.
lock the same resources, which could be, any file or database tables,
A
etc.
deadlock kind of thing.
Though
Okay.
otherwise run they separately, but there are chances they run as a part of the different flows or independent flows, but there are chances that they can clash with each other at certain times. So one has to hold for
Yeah.
another. Okay. Sometime in the cyclic job, we very often use it. How? That, for example, I have an every hour job, right? Every an hour job,
Mhm.
which is running every hours, and I have just given its retention as a 0 days, and I have scheduled this job for all 7 days. Okay. So every time
Mhm.
new day, the new job will come, correct? But there would be
Right.
a very not rare but very limited chances, but certain there is a possibility that last run of the job which just started couple of very near to the new day, it is still running. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so for example 7 a.m. is my time of the new day. My last run started at 6:50. Normally it's supposed to be finished
Mhm.
within 3-4 minutes, but on particular day it is running more than 10 minutes. So if it is crossing 7
Mhm.
a.m., that the same job is going to carry forward to the next day, correct? And then you
Yeah.
ordering the
Yeah.
another schedule which is coming automatically at the 7 a.m. again. So these two can clash because
Mhm.
those are the same jobs, right? So those can
Yeah. Yeah.
clash.
Yeah.
So in
Okay.
the cyclic job, normally what we prefer, I mean, that is our best practice is that we used to prefer independent cyclic job also a same job name as a control resource name. Okay. So what
Okay.
happens that if the same instance is still running from the past day, the other one will not start. Because if two started to run in
Okay.
parallel, the problem may come up. Okay. Not with every job, Maybe some job can run in parallel without locking each other, but it depends upon program to program, right? If the program demands that it firstly lock something, then you should avoid to run them in parallel. Okay, they could have a consequences or the bad results to you.
Okay.
Okay, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So this console is all about to check it that whether your the uh, resource has been used or not, view jobs or folders. So if you click on that, you can find it. This is here, and yeah, you can only find it, right? You try to delete it, don't do it, because if you try to delete the resource from here, I say it has their own consequences. Okay, so if you try to delete it, selected resource test, you can do it, but I think in the job definition it can come again. Okay, so it is not actually you can
Okay.
delete it. Okay, look at it, because it dynamically has been captured by the job, so I don't think it's there. So this is, I still feel, is a confusing. I think it is something you can delete it only when then you see there is no job has occupied, because sometimes it happens that some jobs has been terminated prematurely, not very good, maybe system issues or something, and they not have released the resources. Okay, because they have never entered into the post processing very cleanly, and in that cases you find the other jobs are waiting for the same resource just because some obsolete job or non-functioning job has taken the resource. So what you can do is forcefully cancel the job. Okay, if you can do it. Sometime we also do it from the database level. We go to the control M server and manipulate the status on the control M database directly. If we think from the GUI, it's not working. Okay, so that force the job to terminate into the red status. And if in that cases, if the resource are not being released, then you can come here and delete it. Okay, that works. But otherwise, I will say for the control resource, only use this screen to review which job has occupied, and don't take any other action. Don't try to add resources. Add resources only work when you want to uh, for example, I want to stop many of the job to run. Okay, run from. So for example, I don't want to run this all FNQC jobs, and if I have a control resource in all of FNQC job with certain name, uh, to avoid them running, I can just give an FNQC a resource name, right, in the shared mode, or maybe shared mode in all the jobs. Okay, fair enough. If I have given this resource, so now right now if you look at it, this job will only complain about that it is waiting for the hold action, correct? It is only hold. It is not
Yeah.
waiting for anything else, because rest other will meet out timing or etc etc. But if I go and I add a resource and I give it as an FNQC and I give it as an exclusive, okay, the type is exclusive here, and I save it, what would happen? No job has occupied this particular FNQC. How we know this no job has occupied is because uh, here if I'm clicking view job folders, I'm getting in the bottom, right? And if I click on it, I don't find anything in the bottom. Why? Because there's no job has used it. Okay. Some other options is here. You can go to the column chooser and you can bring it RBA. Okay, RBA is an order ID, I believe. Yes. So you look at it. This is the resource which is used by any real job. So there is a proper order ID is here, right? 00DMR, which is an order ID of the job. 00DMR, correct? But here this is a dummy resource I just generated, correct? And no job is using right now. So here the RBA is
Right.
00000, correct? So there is no job is using. But effect of the adding this resource would be the job, all of the job which is waiting for FNQC will not able to run it. For example, if I refresh this job now, it will reflect that it has a missing resources. Why? Because no other job is using, but I just have created here as a dummy entry with this name and give it as an exclusive mode. So unless this entry is not deleted, the job will not able to run it. So this is a way of
Okay.
holding the jobs. Okay, the same type of jobs someone has asked you. But right now, I think there are so many options to hold the jobs. I don't think these traditional options are any longer is good enough. Okay, previously I think these were good enough. The time in the version 7, 6.4, when there are not too many options, people used to hold the job by defining a common set of resources, maybe control or quantitative, and they used to apply these techniques. Okay. for supporting their maintenance. I think control resources I haven't seen very often used by anyone to hold their batches, but quantitative resources very often used by, in the old configuration or the legacy configuration, I say, where we used to define that particular application job. If I had to shut down or I have to put on a hold, what we used to do, we always define as a part of the standards of that job definition that we common quantitative resource. Okay. And normal time we give a sufficient quantity to quantitative resource, so jobs can easily use. So anytime if we think only 500 jobs can run at same time, for particular application, I can give sufficient quantity for the quantitative resource. And the time there is a maintenance activity for that application, I have to hold the job for indefinite time or certain time. What I can do is I can do one thing: either I hold the job, okay, in the current active environment, and then I
So you make
re-hold
it
the job.
0 or 1.
Yeah, exactly. So you can make it simply quantitative quantity as a 0, and as long as your activity is going on, keep it maintained as a 0. And the moment the quantity,
Yeah.
the activity is over, you return back the numbers, original
Yeah.
numbers. Okay, so that's the way you're holding your jobs. So there's
Yeah.
also a way, but because this is a dummy entry, I have made it, I would be able to delete it. Okay, if you have seen the previous one, we were not able to delete it. This one, correct? The test.
Yeah.
When we attempted the test to delete it, it was just coming back. You cannot do it. Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm, this time it work. It work. Why it work? Okay. Hmm. Job ID is 950, but it is still used by the job, isn't it? Okay. The FNQC end. Okay. If I'm going to delete this resource, I certainly would be able to do so. Yeah, this is just completely gone. But this one is actually, what happened to the first one? Let's see. FNQC. So now this job, which was waiting for the dummy resources, is gone because I have deleted it successfully, right? So it is only waiting for old status. And the other resource which I have defined in this job, and I go to this job and folders, 00 DMR, right? So if I go to the 00 DMR, I've just copied the order ID. And if I go to the 00 DMR to search it, 10 is extra here. I can reach out to this job, right? The one which is required. So if I look at its any impact, whether it has, which is fine. Absolutely. Only thing is I'm just seeing is why this is coming as a like this entry, this should have been come clean entry. Anyway, going back to the active jobs, looking at the control resources, or we can see how many jobs are using. Yeah, that is good. Okay, maybe that was reflecting that point of time, but it is still valid as long as the job doesn't release it at until completion. It is reflecting here. Okay, so we can just make an analysis. Otherwise, we don't need to do much of here in the control resources. Quantitative resources, yes, that's right. The quantitative resources, you have to define it, okay, here in this console as well as in the job definition. So what we define in the quantitative resources here is, if I have to define a new quantitative resources, I can give it as a name, and I can give it as a maximum quantity, which normally we keep it very high, but sometime you can limit it when you think there is a limitation. For example, someone says that there's a very highly utilized server, application server is there, and you run the jobs on that server, and there is a every 10 minutes you are hitting, with the 10 jobs or maybe 20 jobs, okay, and they are been running very, heavy queries and queries of the database, or they might be running heavy utilities. Heavy utilities means something which is resource intensive, okay. May can spike your CPU, etc., etc. Someone, but I mean, this is not something which you can decide directly by your own based on your testing efforts and your analysis. If we come to the conclusion that at any time we don't, the application team do not want to run more than 10 jobs at a time on that server. So what you can define is a quantitative resource on that server, and you can define a maximum quantity is a 10. So if 11th job is going to be run, it is not actually going to submit to the application at all, because it is stopped at the level of control M. by these quantitative
Okay.
resources. Okay.
Oh, you can define
So
that at a server level as well, is it?
this is not a server level, it is just a logical entity in the control M level. Okay, so it can buffer
Control level.
before it actually attempt to submit the job, it actually buffering in the control M by having the quantity.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
So you can see here within the same console, you can define the new quantity and you can see what is used by whom. Okay. So for example, there is a pre-existing entry, total jobs, which has maximum quantity as 100. Current available quantity is 99 because one job is using. Which job is using? This job is using. Okay. And its
Hmm.
number is here, the entry is here, DMR. Correct. So that's a way you can identify which job is using. Even you can directly in the same console, if you try to fill, just type the name of the quantitative resources, you will find, you certainly can find at least which job is using, 156 job has in its definition this quantitative resource name. Okay. And you can filter further, narrow down here based on, right? So here, if you define it that quantitative resources and you search it, you will find 156 job are using in its definition. But out of this 156 job, which one is right now using is the only one which is in running status. Correct.
Hmm.
So the running status is only one. So this one is using. Okay. So there are
Okay.
many ways. I think you don't need to go this is screen also, but if you want to go, this is an easy screen available to check that which job is using, and you can certainly has to define it in both in this section to new quantitative resource and as well as the appropriate quantity for a specific job, that how many quantity you want to allocate. So you have to refer the same name into the job definition as well. But control resources cases, that the case was different. You don't need to define anything here. Okay. Because if you're defining anything here by adding it, you actually reserving it and not allowing any other job to use it. Okay, so you don't need to define here directly in the job definition. You just define the control resources and that's done deal. Okay, you simply can let it run. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. So control resources, quantitative, we have seen it. Global condition prefixes are utilized when there are more than one control M server. I think that's where it's useful, but we still can see the console here. If we go to the at condition in global condition prefix, what it is used for, it is used for to pass the condition a job from one control M server to the job from the another control M server. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So and this is gone by the prefix. And how does it work? Let me explain to you. So for example, I'm giving a test. All right. If I have more than one control M server, I will find all the listing here from control M server and to control M server. So I can define the direction and I can choose, multiple as well. So from this to from this, from this to from this. If I have, for example, control M1 and control M2, I can choose both of them, control M1 to control M2. And then I can, in the to section also, I can choose both of them. Okay. Both of them.
Uh-huh.
So control M is intelligent enough. If I have two data center, let's say control M1 and control M2, there is any job in control M1 which has a out condition where the condition name start with the test. All
Uh-huh.
right. Prefix as a test. After test, you can have any other value, as a full name of the condition. But if prefix is a test, okay, so
Uh-huh.
prefix matters here. If, for example, test hyphen job one to job two, that is my full condition name. Test hyphen job one to job two. It will
Uh-huh.
always look at the global conditions. Okay, if the prefix is matching with the global condition criteria, it will goes to the global condition definition. The control and server pass that condition via the gateway to the global condition server GCS, which runs at the enterprise manager suites. Okay, at the
Uh-huh.
part of the enterprise manager, we have seen that in the CCM, the global
Uh-huh.
condition server is there, right? So
Yeah.
control M GCS role is the GCS picks up that condition from the via the gateway and check in its definition what is the definition is defined. Okay, and it identify, yes, there is a one matching definition where the prefix name is test. Okay, and I have from this server to this server, that means I have to pass on to other server. Of course, the same server doesn't need to use the global condition, it can pass its own condition its own. Okay, it is not dependent on global condition server at all. A job 1 and job 2, if exist within the same control M server, it doesn't require the global condition feature at all. Okay, it is only used for passing a condition from one control M server to another control M server. Got it?
Okay.
So once GCS pick up any condition, it passes to the other server, as many servers are mentioned into the two sections, excluding the server which is sending the condition. Got it?
Okay.
So if I have in the same definition of 5 servers are listed here, and out of which the one server is the same server which is sending the condition, then that would be excluded. But other 4, it will send the condition. The global condition server role is to send those condition to the other servers, okay, via the gateway. Because I told you that every control M server will have its own gateway, right? So if I have more than one control M server, I will find the each gateway for the name of that control M server. Okay, so GCS role is to send to each gateway, which is part of the definition. As many server we have selected as a part of the definition. Now each control M server will receive that condition. It will match the conditions. It will match with its job definition, not in the job definition, but the job which is available in the active environment or in the current day schedule. Okay, it will check whether there is any of my job is waiting for this condition, and if it thinks yes, there's a one job in my schedule waiting for this condition, then it will accept the condition. It will consider the condition has come. Okay, and so the job can trigger. Got it?
Okay.
But if servers find, because if too many servers you have selected in the two sections and only one is getting, the relationship exists, not for the others. So other server will also receive the condition, but when they find and scan their entire jobs and they find none of my job is waiting for this in condition, okay, then it will simply discard the condition. Okay. So the point is here, the GCS is playing the role when the conditions are going from one server, control M server to another one, but uh, in case the GCS is down, the condition cannot flow. Okay. Across the control M server. Within control M server, if GCS is down, there is no impact. The job can easily pass on the triggers and can run. Okay, as a normal sequence. But if they are across the control M server, the sequence will be halt, waiting for the conditions.
Okay.
And sometimes when any control M server is down for any reason, so gateway will be down as well. The GCS role is to buffer the condition, okay, for some time based on the defined parameter. So let's say if there is a defined parameter of 24-hour buffering, then it will maintain the condition for 24-hour and wait for the connectivity to come back for that specific control M server. If the connectivity to that specific control M server doesn't come back in that 24-hour, it will discard the condition.
Okay. So do we really see this in the real-time scenario a lot, or?
Yeah, we see it. Very often we see it if we have more than one control M servers, okay, in our environment. We can simply see it. Why? Because you have to pass that's why this interface is right. If two set of jobs running within control M, there should be a way to give them a dependency. That's the role of the control M, as a scheduling solution. If you cannot pass a direct trigger between them, those jobs, or among multiple jobs, then what is the use of it?
Yeah.
Correct. The only thing is they have defined a separate feature called global condition prefix. That's it. And it is goes by the prefix. So you can give an actual job name as anything, but your condition would be treated as a global condition only if it is start with the same prefix, which you define in the definition section. All right. So this has been defined and this entry is there. If any job definition is using adding the condition, that's how the workflow will work. All right, so we have seen global condition. Condition is a normal, not normal, but it's the local table for the control M server. Okay, so if you have to filter by the control M server, you will see so many condition out there. Correct. Why these condition out there? Because in the job definition, we adding the conditions and we may not be deleting the condition. So every job, if adding the condition to its successor, but the same successor job receiving in condition, but not deleting the in condition after the completion of it, then those condition remains in the condition table. And how long it remains? So how long it remains is depends 364 days. Why 364 days? Because if you look at the format of the order date, what is the format of the order date? The
month and date it is, right?
exactly and dt. So it cannot differentiate between year, right? So what
Mhm.
happens at the every new day it checks before it enters into the new day. If there is any conditions which is available from the previous year, it deletes it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that it can differentiate, because it can differentiate the 12/29 of 2018 or 2019. All right, so that's how it is. So as many old condition you can see 364 days it maintained and then it deleted it. That's how the logic is, they have defined it. Okay.
So we don't take any action, right? It automatically.
Yeah, it is embedded into the new day, so we don't need to take an action. I think only we need to take an action only in case we purposely, is skipping this step, because new day done lot of step by default in nature. But sometimes if we think the new day is taking a lot of time, normally it finish within a minute or two. If you have, let's say, 4 5,000 job to be ordered or something, but if you think your new day is taking 10 minutes, 15 minutes, its time is increasing, which eventually impact on your scheduling, because scheduling is round the clock. No one knows there is a
Mhm.
delay due to the new day, right? And control them. Some people
Yeah.
want to run exactly the job at the same time when the new day is happening. So we sometimes has to convey the message to the teams when they demand us that to schedule their job exactly at the time of the new day. That your job may not run exactly at the new day timing. Your job may run a minute or two later once the new day get finished. Okay. So but if your new day is taking 15 minutes, I think it's a challenge. So you normally can design your new day by removing some default steps in the new day. So there are a lot of steps in the new day, such as new day clean up the old condition, new day clean up the old jobs, flush out the old jobs, completed, max weight retained, expired. New day send the signals to the agent to clean up their log files, okay, based on the
Mm.
retention. New day order the new jobs, right? So there are so many steps, and we can certainly exclude certain steps out of the new day to make it faster. So if we are excluding this step of the new day also, which delete the condition, then we have to set up some other command to get it clean up every day, without failure. Or normally we leave it to the new day also. I think many times we don't realize it, we leave it to the new day.
Okay.
So it is like a deep diving cases, but in normal cases, yes, new day will take care. You don't need to take care your own.
Okay.
Okay, so that is about conditions. So condition is always about it. So sometimes if you mistakenly execute some jobs and that has added the condition at the wrong time, you can go back to this table and delete the condition. Okay,
Okay.
yesterday, if you recall, I was doing it when I was running a job as a part of the sequence. Um, I was deleting them so that the successor cannot run. Okay, for example, I choose this job. Okay, file job is not okay. 11 one, up to the 11. I had to run this job in ad hoc. What I'll do,
Mhm.
I'll go to the release, free,
Mhm.
and I run it now. I can also order a separate job, but if I am good enough in the tool, maybe I'm not want to spend, waste the time to order another job. I can just manage with it. Okay. So there's a
Mhm.
sleep 20. It should be finished another 22 minutes. Okay, let it run. So once it finish, okay, in the 2 minutes, or maybe let me just get it done quickly. I kill it and then I set to okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I have killed it and then I set to okay. What happened with the set to okay is it got the condition. The job 14 would have got the one condition at least, right? So now it is waiting for other conditions only, correct? The other
Yeah.
condition file processing job, 10 or maybe 11, right? 112. Okay. So it is only waiting for one condition because the other one has been come from here. But I think it is, I want to reset up the same job to be run at the scheduled time, correct? So this condition which I have inadvertently added, you know, I can go and delete it. Okay, so this condition which got added, I will find it in the condition table. I could go it here. I've added, out condition of that job. I have copied here. I refresh the condition. I found it, right? So moment I delete
Mhm.
this condition from here. Now if I look at the 14, it is waiting for both of the conditions. right? Two conditions are back. Make sense? Coming back.
Okay, so you deleted there, and this is waiting. Earlier, it was waiting for one condition, right?
Because the 11 has added the condition, but now I manually deleted that condition. So that's the way. Now it is again waiting for both of the condition. Why? Because 11 is also I'm going to rerun it. So it can run at the scheduled time. I just utilize this job as a ad hoc run just now,
Okay.
without ordering the another job. But I reset it up within this active environment in such a way that its regular schedule is not disturbed.
Okay.
Okay, so just a way, but otherwise, if you don't want to go into the pain of it, then you can simply order another instance of the job 11 and let it run as a ad hoc and don't disturb the sequence. But if I know it, I can just manage within the same sequence as well.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
All right, so that is how the condition tables can helpful to you. Viewpoint manager. So we're talking about all active jobs and a lot of things, right? So viewpoint managers plays an important role here. So if you look at it, these are the default entries which is already there, and you can create your own many, etc. For example, if you have to, so viewpoints are created based on the couple of things. What are the couple of things is number one is a collections,
Mhm.
number two is a filter, and number three is a hierarchies. So if you look at it in the right side, the hierarchies is defined, then filter is defined, right? And then it actually collections. So if we talk about hierarchies, we can define our own hierarchies that how we want to define any. If I create a new hierarchy structure at my own requirements, okay, this is a new completely. And I define that in the job label one, I want to see I have these options in the, whatever the options they have given us, I want this option. Any OS, there is any OS type of jobs now? OS, they have not given OS, it's given a spatial. Okay, no worries. Host ID, node ID. So I want to check with the NGF node. No, so where is the host ID section? Hadoop host, right? I want to reflect the host name first, okay? Or host group name first. Maybe host name first. And in the second label, I want to see, what is the second label? I want to see in the second label the control M. All right. This is just a random selection I have made it in terms of the job parameters. Okay. And
Mhm.
I saved this one. So this is my, one new hierarchical structure has been set up, which I will repurpose or use in brand new viewpoint. Here it is about the filters criteria. So what is my new filter criteria? Okay, I just define the new filter criterias. This is once again a new. What I want to include in it, my own choices. Okay, this is my own choices here. I want to use where the job command like anything. Okay, so a script type of job will not be included here, only where the command is some values. Got it? That
Mhm.
is my filter criteria as I am defining it. All right.
Mhm.
So this is my filter criteria which I have just defined it. Then come to the collections criteria. The collection is I can define my own collections. Okay, so this is my new collection criteria, and I want to include the job. Collection is mainly, I would say, the default collections or something, but I think it is just task type is no, not task type, the order date or run as is. No, my name is may not work for me. Uh, I just want to choose a what should I say here? Let me. Okay, application type, for example, equal to OS. Okay, OS type of jobs, right? Any fair filter criteria. Now look at their impact, utilization. So if now I create a new viewpoint here in the system, I can create a new viewpoint, new, right? I have to choose any hierarchy here. Now I can use my own hierarchy, which I have created it. Correct?
Mhm.
New. Then I can create my own filter, which I have created it. All right, new. You can use an existing all jobs, or you have defined your own collection, which you can also check it, which is again a filter criteria. Okay, so filter or collection, I would say it's almost same thing. Okay, it's almost same thing. All right. So new has given application type is OS, or otherwise I can even keep it all jobs, which is pre-configured things. Excluding term I could define if I have to exclude anything, right? So if I save it, this new viewpoint, which finally I have created it, I go to this new button first, right? And then I will see all viewpoint. Here I will find the new one which I just created for myself. Not myself, but it is for everyone. Okay, everyone who is login can do it, can see this new viewpoint. Okay. So if I go to this new, how would it look like and what it contains? It contains, let's see what it contains. It contains how many jobs total? 61 in it. And then another is 95 here, right? Total 156 jobs in the bottom, I would say. The first one hierarchical structure is, even if I go to the hierarchy here, what is the coming is host, control M and jobs, because this is the hierarchy I have defined it. Why it is coming as an empty? Because many jobs doesn't have the host name defined, so they are landing up to the default agent, which we were discussing about yesterday, where the field is empty. So they are coming and marked as an empty, right? And the other one is marked as a control M because they have the control M. I think these are most of the job which has completed, so they have populated the field called control M in there, or some could have from their definition. So point is that this is my own defined viewpoint where I can see my data structure the way I want to see it. A good example is that by default, these all active jobs and other options may not have, the server wise or no host ID or agent wise segregation, right? In this my criteria, I have the agent wise, so I can easily figure it out the job for belonging to this agent, correct? If someone reach out to you stating that I want to see I need the list of the job which is going to run in next 24 hours for my server, either you can search it, of course you can search it, you can filter it, dynamic filter it, there are so many ways, but if you open this kind of viewpoint you can spot on there.
Okay.
Okay, so you can create as many viewpoint as you want, but because viewpoint you have to use some existing defined hierarchy filter and collections. So you firstly can define as per your choice the hierarchies, the way you want to arrange your data in the map, or the way you want to filter your data, and the way you want to collect your data. Okay, and then you can use them from the drop downs by defining any new viewpoints. And as soon as you define a new point, it would be available to you to use it.
So
Load
is
your
there a way
jobs
that we can
accordingly.
make a copy of all jobs or active jobs and
So all
then
job active
change?
job is pre-configured.
Yeah, is there
Yeah,
like we can make a
you
copy
can
of
make a
that?
copy of it. You can duplicate. Yeah, you can duplicate it. There
Duplicate
is a
it.
button called
Okay.
duplicate,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So you
Okay.
can create.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
also looking.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can just right. So that's how it is. So you got it right. That's
Yep.
viewpoint. How to create the viewpoints.
And you were saying that like application team might ask to get me what all jobs that are running on their agent. What does that mean, like when you say
Mhm.
agent?
I mean, if you're running jobs for hundred of machines, right? Some applications A, B, C, D, E, F, so many applications, and they're running on different servers, correct? So servers,
Mm-hmm.
to run the job on the servers, what we needed? We need agents, right? Control M
Right.
agents. So
Oh,
my
okay.
reference of the agents means where the job is going to run, those servers. Those are
Okay.
servers for them, for application. For us, it is the agent. My agent is running. That's why I was able to run the job on your machine,
Okay.
correct? So that
Okay.
is the reference. So if they wanted that, can you search the job by the server name? So that means you must have some agent there. That's why you're running, unless you don't using the agent less. Even if you're running the agent less, then you must have in the job definition the name of the actual server where the job is going to run. Correct.
Mhm.
And then if your hierarchy is like this, which is not based on application or sub application, but the server name, then you can see the server name and all the jobs which is going to run on the server.
Yeah, if we want to filter that, last time you did a dynamic filter in that, right? We can
Dynamic
also
also you
check
can do
that.
it. Yeah, you can do the dynamic also. I mean, just different ways. Okay, here in the host name, if you will type it, right, the server name, or in the host group section, you can filter it, those set of jobs.
Okay. You just did a control D there, right? Yeah.
Control D, yes. For example, Cloudera, the other agent, if I have it, right, if I go to and filter those jobs, how many jobs we find it? None. Maybe there is no job right now. What is the name? Cloudera. The other agent is 1 minute. Other agent name is quickstar.cloud. So I've just placed the cloud and I place the star there. So
You should do start dot or something.
no, if there should be any job, then only we can get it, right? So probably there is no job right now with
No
this
job
node.
there for me.
There's no job. Even in the full sections, if I go back, search it, let's see if there is any job, because probably there is no job right now with this. Maybe I added
Yeah,
one
in
job and
Control M9, the host is nothing but the node in Control M7, right?
exactly. The node ID is referred as a host. That's exactly.
Okay. Okay.
That is the repurpose. So I don't think there is anything, but if we, I modify this job to run on the Cloudera, right? The real names. And then I try to search it, I'll able to search it, okay? So I'm just changing this job definition to run on the Cloudera. And now if I search my dynamic filter, the same dynamic filter, and I give it cloud, I will find a one job there, right? Now there is a one job is coming. So that's how it is.
Yeah.
So you can do it in that way also. Absolutely. You can quickly filter and you don't need to depend upon your, viewpoints or etc. You can just go and do it.
Mhm.
Okay, so workload policy monitor is another one. The workload policy monitor is, we'll cover it, okay, later. Once we'll see the workload policy first, then we'll see the workload policy monitor. Here in the view section is all those hierarchical structure, control M application, because
Yeah.
current viewpoint which I have open is like a control M application sub application, but this structure will change accordingly based on the what we have open the viewpoint. For example, my viewpoint has a different structure, right? So if I go to the view section, I will see host, control M and jobs because that is what I defined, right? So that's accordingly can flip based on it. And accordingly, you can choose the data which you want to choose it here, control M application, sub application, the one you want to remove it will be removed. Okay.
Okay.
So left hand side now control M is gone, only applications are there. Now applications are removed, the only sub applications are there. Even sub applications are removed and we have only the job names in the left hand side and even in the middle portion. All right. So that is about it. Map list Gantt is the same thing. Rearrange is the same thing. Expand all, step in is the same thing. Dependencies, you can navigate right click and you can dependency, show dependencies behind nodes and above nodes. So what is difference between behind nodes and above node dates? It can show over the top of the job, so this is right now. Let me just see this way. Mhm. Okay, so it is like there's any nesting or something is here. Okay, I don't think. Okay, so what I choose now is above nodes. Okay, the impact would be of the above nodes is, let me just see if I can show you in this diagram. This above node is like this. It is coming over the node, correct? So this line is coming of the dependencies over the node. But if I want to hide it behind the node, then I'll choose the behind the node. So now the line is going back into the behind the node. Look
Okay.
at the job 5, okay, the one I've selected. Right now,
Okay.
dependency is behind of it. But it's the same. If I choose the above the nodes, then it will come over the top of it. Correct?
Okay. Okay.
Got it? And if I
Yeah,
want
got
to
it.
hide the dependencies, every dependencies would be hide here.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. That's very dangerous. Okay.
Right. Absolutely. So you need it. Correct. That's how it is. Bring into the view and show hide times. If you want to show and hide their approximate time, you don't want to show them, you can just remove that button and you will see that has gone. Okay, just customize your areas if you don't want to show the time. If you want to show, then that will come in the template. Bookmark, what is a bookmark is, you can create any jobs as a bookmark. For example, I choose this job, okay, and I want to create as a bookmark. Where I can create, I think I should be able to create right there. Bookmark is coming anywhere. More actions. No, I think so. If there is any job and I toggle bookmark, so there's a bookmark has come here, right? So that means if you have to go again and again your job, for example, now I am here in the diagram, right? And I have to go to my job. I can go to the next bookmark. The moment I click on the next bookmark and I have only one job
Okay.
as a mark as a bookmark, I can quickly reach out to it. Okay, so
Okay.
that is a way you can bookmark kind of cases. All right, now we come to the analysis view. Analysis view is a very quick. We have shown find. We have seen the find, correct?
Hmm.
We have seen the neighborhood because if for
Yeah.
this job I'm talking about, its neighborhood would be highlighted. That's the purpose. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
one its predecessor and successor, that's it. The critical path, if I choose for this job, the critical path for this job, for example, this job, okay. What is the critical path for this job? To complete this job, what all has to be finished first? So the filter job 4 has to be finished first, correct? And then
Hmm.
the job 1 also has to be finished first, correct? Then only the 5 can complete. So 5 is dependent on 4, 4 is dependent on 1, right?
Hmm.
So if I come to this and I choose the critical path, okay, so it's just talking about immediate and this one, right? I mean, just immediate. I think it is just showing immediate, which is okay, but normally it should show that also. So it is like this one, open into the viewpoint. So if open into the viewpoint, you do it, which you do from Y option also or waiting info also, you can see all the job it is dependent on.
Hmm.
Okay. So open into the viewpoint will open the 3 job set. I assume no, only one. Okay, that is just one, which is okay. Let me just see the other option. So I think that is just to open the same job in the separate viewpoint if you, in case you want to analyze it, which is okay. But in the open analysis viewpoint, if you go, it will open the 3 jobs for it. Okay, why 3 jobs? Because it is dependent on 3 jobs, 2 more jobs, not just immediate predecessor, but its predecessor as well. So that is the full path for it. Correct?
Okay.
Okay, so that is the uh, analysis viewpoint in the regular sections. So in a regular section, you can take an advantage of BIM kind of things also by this open analysis viewpoint. The only point is with the BIM job, your monitoring is settled. Okay.
Hmm.
BIM is also giving you the same options, right? Batch Impact Manager, that all the sequence you can see it, not just immediate
Yeah.
predecessor, but all the one. And here also you can see it. But only difference is the BIM can take care of the monitoring. This can give you in the viewpoint for analysis point of view, but it cannot generate the monitoring rules, the alerts.
Okay. So for BIM, you have to create it, right? We have to create it
You have,
before
yeah,
we.
we have to create as a job, as a BIM job. Then only it could be converted as a service and also the monitoring criterias.
Yeah.
Okay, in the job definition, we had to hard code all of these things. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so this is, we can rest for today, right? So I
Yeah.
believe all the monitoring part has been done in today. Then tomorrow we can start with the planning session. Okay.
Okay.
If there are any questions, we can cover it here. For anything from the monitoring section. So I'll cover in detail for the planning session, various options. Firstly, the layouts, and after the layouts for some test scenarios of the sequencing, couple of, and so complete planning, and then we'll move on to the history. History is a no, is not a very vast. It's quite easy. Forecast is not very vast. It's quite easy, so it wouldn't take a much of time. But I believe the planning may take a time because planning is main thing, right? Then we will
Mhm.
come to the tools. In the tools section, we will see each and everything. That's where we'll cover the workload policy monitor along with the workload policy, definitions, that how we define the workload policies and what is the use of it. We will see the primarily site customization. I doubtful we can see it. Let me just see it. Okay. Yeah, we can see the site customization. I think they should have it for the site customization. Hmm. Okay, all right. So we can see the site customization also. Okay, how we can apply the site customization, and what else we have it right now? Yeah, calendars. We can revisit it, but it's the same as the standard as previously was. Promotion rules is another thing which probably we can see that, how to define it, which is also good feature. Promotions, that means you have to move your full production schedule of 8,000, 10,000 jobs from one control M server to another control M server. You can promote it, or if you have to just send the selective jobs, you can do it. Okay, so this
Okay.
way it helps you to um, you know reduce your efforts, so you don't need to duplicate your efforts. For example, you're setting up some jobs in the QA and then you have to do it in the production. correct? So normally it happens that we firstly test in the QA has a different parameters and the production has a different parameters, right? And we create the job 2 times, one time in the product QA, and then we set up the same job in the production, or we had to manually change the parameters. Promotion rule with a single click, if you define your conversion parameters here, that what values of QA is corresponding to the production. So with the single click, you can convert the definition and write and upload as well. Okay, so that's where your effort is minimized. You just simply put your effort on the QA testing or the non-production testing, and with a single click, you can move it into the production, even vice versa also. Okay, if you have to refresh your non-production from the production, someone says that, can you run my full production like a schedule from tomorrow? And you see your data is not in sync, because when you're getting a new jobs request, you may not be testing everything in the QA. You're just testing, directly setting up some of those in the production. So that means those jobs no longer exist in the QA. Correct. So you have a data mismatch. Number of jobs are 8,000 in the production, non-production might have just 6,000, so they're not in sync. But someone says, the new requirement comes to run everything as a production in the non-production environment. What you have to do, you have to copy the entire definition, or you have to create manually the missing jobs, which is again difficult. So what you can do, you entirely refresh your non-production schedule from the production based on the conversion parameter, because a job is for referring for some whole node ID in the production cannot be same in the non-production. Correct. So node ID would be different, username would be different, the file path or file could be different. Normally people keep the script name same, right? That's the thumb rule. But your username can be different, your server name certainly would be different, and your path may or may not be changed. It depends whether how you have given your path. So that those are some fundamental parameter which you can define for conversion point of view. And then additionally, qualitative parameters such as application, sub-application, folder name, you want to differentiate, you can change as a part of the conversion rules. But those are qualitative parameter, I would say. Why? Because those are not actually going to affect the job runtime. Job executions, right? Not runtime, but the job executions. The job execution, what matters, what actually you run the script. So a script name, a script path, a script user ID, script server name, that should be appropriate, as well as the variables. If you're passing the variable, they should be correct as per the environment. Rest other values which are hard coded in the job definition are not the real values for the execution. They are not the right they are not effective values for the execution only taken care by these 4 or 5 parameters. Correct. So we'll see these
So
promotions.
you
Go
just
ahead.
promote it from production to test, is it? Okay.
Yeah, we can promote it from production to test. Absolutely, we can promote it. Okay.
Okay. And
We
also,
have to
how,
build.
how do they create that the different environments if we want to do it from their root? Like, I don't have any environment set up right now, so I need to differentiate between the QA test and pre-prod or prod. Uh,
So, so again, you should have a, ideally, I think I wouldn't say that you can't manage, but you can manage your multiple environments of your application batches within the same control M server as well. But the best practice is you should separate out your control M server for the sake of security and the risk. Okay, because anyone can confuse from the same. So you can host as many control M servers, and then you can, for based on your own classifications that you want to have multiple non-production environment, you can host according to that many control M servers, and each one can be a replica of the production in terms of the job, or maybe part of the replica of the production. Because if you think that you have a 500 servers, 500 node IDs in the production, right? Not every application has a corresponding QA server available. Some are not having at all a QA server, right? So you do not have any landscape to run their QA jobs. So you don't need to have that schedule available in the QA, correct? You can segregate out those but remaining you have to manage it. Okay, so you can create as many control M servers and those agents which are hosted on their QA environment, because environment separation is not defined by control M. Okay, if I create a separate control M server, say a QA control M server, but the job which I'm going to run from that control M server, which is going to run on agent or node ID called A, but node ID A server is a production in nature. So that means actually I'm running a production job. Okay, just by having a separate control M server make nothing. It's differentiated by the application server nature. correct?
Okay.
Got it. So separation means you firstly classify your agents or node IDs based on the application criterias. What categories those servers are. Those are QA in nature. Those are, the production in nature. Those are test in nature, development in nature, right? And then a control M server, if you have segregation of the control M server, then you connect those agent to that control M server.
Okay.
One agent can be connected to one control M server at a time. Uh, so you should connect to the one control. So production server should be connected to the production instance of the control M server, and non-production agent should be connected to the non-production instance. And within non-production, if you have further segregation, you can do it. Within production, if you have further separations, that for this application I have separate control M server, and this application I have separate control M server. So their agents, where the job are going to run, that should be connected according to that.
Okay.
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 Make sense, right? So
Yeah.
that is what we'll cover. Tomorrow planning will try to cover by tomorrow, and then we can give it some time for the others. Planning may take maybe a day or 1.5 day as well, because that
Okay.
is more elaborated. So many scheduling criterias.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
fine.
So
So let's meet Matt tomorrow. You available tomorrow, right?
yeah, I'm available. I was about to ask you, like, so how are you planning, like, tomorrow and the day after tomorrow as well?
Yeah, day after tomorrow as well, because it will depends how we goes fast or slow according to our needs. So for the planning, if planning covers, then remaining portion can be covered within a single session or maybe 1.5 session. The options under the history is a very simple. Forecast is a
Yeah.
very simple and tools. And thereafter we can move on to the that installation and other, because CCM related configuration manager related parameter. I'll give you the overview along with the installation, because that's where you can easily correlate.
Yeah. Sure.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
all
the
the
one weakest point of mine. So
no worries. I
yeah,
think
I
you can
haven't
easily
done
get
so.
it as long as you have a control over the layers. I think you can get it pretty easily.
Okay.
Okay. So not
Sure.
worry about it at all.
Sure.
All right, Chetan.
All right.
So meet you
So
tomorrow. Yeah.
sure. Thanks, Abhishek, for your time, and have a nice day. And we'll talk to you
You too.
tomorrow.
Have a good night.
Thanks. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.